human beings are walking the streets of Earth.
Hey. Cheers.
Hello. Cheers. Welcome to the Scream stream. I coined it. No one else did it.
Yeah.
It's right there in front of your face. Super easy, but you know what? Sometimes the best things are the easiest things to come up with.
You heard it here first from Cinema Gulp.
You're welcome and thank you. But I want to introduce everybody. Welcome everybody to the panel. We have Elvirus here. We have Joanne. Good to have you back. It's been a little bit. We don't do live shows all the time, so that's understandable. But hello, my lady.
Thank you.
And returning again within a week. Second appearance is Theta. Theta Zord, my buddy. Good
How
to
you
have you.
doing, man? Just call me Theta, and I got a new video coming out, so yeah, thank you for having me on.
Yeah. And Kat, always wonderful to have Kat here. She's an encyclopedia of movie knowledge. I don't know why I did a gong. It just seemed appropriate. Like the
ancient ones from Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme of knowledge of films.
Well, we have some Scream enthusiasts here. Kat joined us a couple of years ago when we did our Scream Chug show. That was funny and fun. I want to say hello to people who are here. I have a poll up right now on the chat. Scream 2, Scream 4, legit good. Yes, I like 4 more than 2, but 4's got some good stuff in there. Protein, hey, howdy gulpers, hello. Oh, and Ashty, hey guys, hey you, Ashty. Thanks for being here. She's been a frequent chat guest lately, and it's been great to have her. She helped me and Bobak out a lot with some of our Game of Thrones knowledge while doing our by doing our Night of the Seven Kingdoms stuff. So it's always good to have people that enjoy watching the channel and Scream.
It's a Scream, baby. Hold on a sec. I'll be right back.
I'll be right back.
So the way I want to structure this, it's very loose, but I want to talk about the 6 movies that exist right now, aside from the one that just came out last night, because we haven't seen it yet. One has, but we have. Yeah. I want to talk about all 6, and then at the end, I want to rank them. I've always wanted to rank these movies and just do like a tier list show, but I've never really been one of those tier list channels, even though it does look kind of fun. Maybe one day.
I think about the same thing.
Yeah, I see a lot of tier list channels get a lot of hits because it's enjoyable to watch somebody rank things that you've seen and stuff. But we've just never really done that. But maybe one day. Maybe one day. I want to rank the Golden Child movies, but there's only one.
Ooh.
So that's hard because there's only one. So
yeah,
maybe I'll do a tier list for a franchise that only has one movie, just to be different. Be like, this one's my favorite and my least favorite. Anyway, so let's get into it since I have everybody here. Thanks again for being here, everybody, on a Friday night. Much appreciated. Scream 1. I want to start with Kat because Scream 1, like she's, I think, the youngest in this panel.
Yes. Maybe.
Yeah. So I was in high school when Scream came out. I was a senior when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're showing the costume?
Oh no, I just got a blanket. I got a shirt on.
Oh,
as well.
that's a cool
It's a blanket. Oh, okay.
F around and find out. With a big knife in his hand.
I love it. I love it. Sorry, I froze up for a second, but I don't think you guys did. So we're gonna bring up the movies here as we talk about them. So Scream 1. I love. Well, I'm gonna get to Kat, but one thing I love about Scream 1, and this is huge spoilers, by the way, for this entire thing. Scream 1, as you can see from the poster, advertised this movie as if Drew Barrymore was the main star.
Mm-hmm.
And they Marion craned her ass in the first 15 minutes. And I've always said the first 15 minutes and the last half hour of the original Scream is some of the most tense filmmaking in a horror movie that doesn't involve like ghosts or aliens. It's just so rock fucking solid.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Kat, your experience with Scream 1, since you were, you were probably in grade school when it came out.
Yeah, I didn't really hear about it until I was probably like 12 or something. I mean, I don't know, because I remember seeing previews and TV spots for these movies, but I probably first saw this when I was 11 or 12. And I was familiar with Drew Barrymore. I didn't realize how big of a star she was, so the fact that they killed her in the first 13 minutes didn't really faze me. But I thought the first 13 minutes was perfect. I absolutely love it. Perfect horror movie in and of its own. And the rest of it's still really fun and has great replay value. But I thought it was great. I like how it's kind of making fun of horror movies, but still being fun. Yeah, not like other than the first 13 minutes, it's not really like not really scary or anything. But I love Dewey. He's like my favorite character in the whole franchise because
he's my favorite character too.
Character arc too, really dynamic.
Randy is the unsung hero, though.
Yeah, he's definitely the unsung hero, and I like the dynamic between him and Gail and how like she's just so annoying and obnoxious.
Oh no, I was saying Randy. Randy, the guy who knows all about.
Yeah, Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah,
and
you got Randy in there. And
what's his name? Wes Craven admitted that he regretted killing him off in the second movie, halfway through the second movie, and that was a big mistake. But they wanted to have stakes. And they needed to kill off a main character from the first movie. So
he was too beloved, though. I mean,
but that was the point. It's like no one is safe,
I get it. Yeah.
But it would have been good to have him around longer for sure. But yeah.
I mean, he was so important that even in part 3, they brought back his sister, just to have a member of his family leaving a tape so that just in case there is a trilogy of murders. I mean, that's how important his character was to knowledge about horror movies. That's why I love him so much.
Yeah, I mean, this first movie, it's just incredible. Like rewatching it, I rewatched it again with someone who hadn't seen it since it first came out and didn't really, almost like they were just watching it for the first time. And when you're watching this movie and literally Stu is giving himself away at every moment of this movie, and Skeet Ulrich's Billy is the reserved. He's the guy you're like, this is suspect number one because he acts weird. He's good looking, but he's just weird and stoic. And you realize by the end of the movie that they were making their own movie, like in their minds, and everything was set up for that moment. Like all the times they were almost in Sid's house going to kill Sid. They weren't going to kill Sid like right away. They were messing with her, and it's so tight. It's so great.
Well, and the way that they set up Billy was so over the top that it made you double think yourself, like you thought for sure that he was the killer, but then it got to be so over the top that you're like, no, they surely wouldn't make him the killer. It's too obvious.
And it's fun to play the game, looking at which one of the killers was in each Ghostface scene. That Stu was the one doing the killing at the beginning. It made sense, because of Casey Becker. And but it's cool. Like Stu is the more bumbling one that kind of trips over himself because he's so excited. Whereas Billy is more of the one that's tilting his head and wiping the blade and things like that. It's fun to play that game, especially now that it's kind of all come out. I know that people do play that game, but I love hearing that you play that game too. Because it's great.
That's what I love about going back and rewatch. That's the rewatch value that these movies have.
Yeah, and to Kat's point, it's not. None of these movies are very scary, but this one has that tensity to it that like it just keeps ratcheting up. And I know Joe, it's your turn here, but the Henry Winkler, the Principal Fonzie character, his kill in the middle of the movie was a reshoot because there was no kills from the beginning of this movie until the final act. And the studio was like, we need another kill. So they killed Principal Fonzie. And And it
That's
works
hilarious.
though. It works because he's already introduced anyway.
You know
But
what's
Kat-
funny about that kill is that I always double think myself, and I always wonder, is that from Scream or is that from Scary Movie? Like, because it's Henry Winkler, you know? Like,
Well, yeah.
I always like double think myself, like, am I thinking of the right movie? Was he really in Scream, Wes Craven's Scream, or was this Scary Movie? Because that's just such a funny character to have killed off. I don't know.
Well, and his character death does create sort of the biggest plot hole if you're really paying attention when they talk about somebody murdered Principal Fonzie and then like
I love
tied him
you
up
call
to the
it
top of the
Principal Fonzie.
goalpost of the football field. You're like, well, who did that? Even if you had both Billy and Stu, that would be impossible, you know. But we know Stu is.
Ghost faces in this franchise are always capable of superhuman insanity.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, especially in part 2, which we'll get to. But Joanne,
And part 5.
experience with this one, Joe.
Yeah, so I was in high school too. I graduated in '96. So yeah, I can't believe it's been 30 years. But besides the fact that this is, this whole series is like pokes fun at itself, horror movies. My favorite part about it is the twist that you have two killers, because anytime you're watching, a whodunit, like, I was always a fan of watching old shows like Columbo and Murder, She Wrote and things like that. You just assume there's just a killer. And when they twist it and there's two, I thought that was genius for the time. I was like, wow, I never would have figured that out. So that's my favorite part of Scream.
Columbo. Just one more thing. Just one more thing.
He's awesome. Peter Falk is awesome. I actually just watched him in an old movie, A Woman Under the Influence. That's just a tangent, but yeah, he's a fantastic actor.
He was great. Check with the people. She was supposed to be the main final girl, but Drew didn't think that she could pull it off, and decided to do a little scene. I've heard a lot of different stories on that.
Yeah, I've heard a different story than that. So
I thought it was kind of her idea to pull the Marion Crane punch.
It was.
that's
yeah,
what
it
I
was.
heard
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I want to welcome Sylvia, your lovely artist. Hello, hey, thanks for being here once again. It's nice to have you again. Nice to see you. I think
it might have been that she auditioned to be the main girl, to be Sydney, and she didn't get the part. So
I think they wanted her.
And it was only a few weeks before filming when she told him, "Hey, I changed my mind. I want to play the character who gets killed in the opening scene."
Yeah,
and Wes was devastated because he's like, a big part of the reason this movie got greenlit is because you were cast in the lead. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't even think she auditioned. Like,
No,
they
she
wanted her for this movie. Yeah.
So did Dev Campbell get the part because of The Craft?
I don't know
Might have
that.
had to audition unless they reached out after that, but there was a scramble because like they were literally just weeks away from cameras rolling.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love.
I think Nev Campbell auditioned for the part of Stu and didn't get it, so they moved it around a little bit.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes. It was fun.
I love.
You gotta love Matthew Lillard's
Yeah,
gums.
he's like Nicolas Cage. He has that kind of energy. It's just you can't. He's unstoppable.
He's a living cartoon character. And
Yeah, and he loves it, and the screen loves him for being it.
I love the way Matthew Lillard has handled his career, especially when he was one of those weird innocent victims of drunken Tarantino tearing down actors and calling Matthew Lillard a clown who doesn't know how to act. I completely disagree with that, but I love how Matthew Lillard was at a Scream festival and he's like, I'm super popular in this room, but I'm not very popular in high school. But I love Matthew Lillard. I think everything he's in. My favorite film of last year, The Life of Chuck. He had a nice, significant part in the first act, and he was fantastic in that. He was also in my favorite movie of 2011, The Descendants. He was great in that.
Oh, yeah.
So everything, yeah.
Yeah, I think he always brings a certain quirky energy to everything he's in. So Tarantino could go lick his nuts,
Mm-hmm. Hackers is one
That
of
was kind
my
of blown out of proportion, though.
my favorite. What do you call it when it's not very popular, but you love it anyway. You know that
Guilty pleasure.
guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
phrase. Sorry, my brain is still processing the food I just ate. But yeah,
Sounds like it was good.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah.
Thank you
this
very
movie-
much, Diamond Pearl. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
This movie blew me away. It like exactly like you're saying when Drew Barrymore got killed off in the first 10 minutes of the movie. It just I didn't know what to expect from then on out.
Mhm.
I knew Matthew Lillard from Hackers, and what else did he do before then? But anyway, I knew Nev Campbell because I had a big crush on her.
So did
from
I.
The
So did I.
Craft. Yeah, she was
Party of Five, man. Party of Five.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't really know any of the other actors. Billy Loomis. What's his?
The poor man's Johnny Depp, Skeet Ulrich.
Yes, Skeet Ulrich. Yeah, exactly. But he did such an amazing job. He was so good in it. And then I knew Rose McGowan. I don't remember what I knew her from. But yeah, it was just a good cast. It was a good director. I love Wes Craven. I love A Nightmare on Elm Street. He hasn't put Wes Craven hasn't put out all the best movies, but
he's very hit or miss. But when he's a hit, it's like it's iconic when he hits. It becomes a staple of cinema when he hits. When he misses, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
it's like, all right,
Yeah, it's not something that ruins his career. It's just something that you just move on and go to the next thing.
Yeah. But this one came out right at that perfect time where horror was in sort of this weird
Downward
purgatory.
spiral.
Yeah, I mean, there was good stuff. Don't get me wrong. There was really good stuff in the 90s, in the early 90s that were horror. But this one just kind of came out and said, like, hey, remember slasher movies? Like, not only are we going to give you one, but we're going to remind you of all the other ones that you know and tell you why they're kind of silly, but not fall into the trap of being that way, which some of the sequels vary in dipping their toes into kind of becoming exactly what they originally were making fun of. But
yeah.
And also, it's credited with resurrecting slashers in general because they were kind of going out the door. Of how ridiculous and bad they'd gotten, and then this movie kind of saved it.
Yeah, slasher movies had become things like Candyman, where it's like not really a slasher movie, but it has elements to it. This one was so focused, like laser focused on exactly what it was trying to do, and
it was a parody, but not a parody at the same time. So it really just hit a meta type of aspects that the audience had never seen before, or at least I had never seen before. It brought something new to the table and just became a classic. And that's why it's still, to this day, it's still thriving.
Yeah. I have this film in rewatchability. Now that this movie is 30 years old as of this year, I have to say it's my favorite Wes Craven movie, even though Nightmare is obviously just Mount Rushmore of villains. I mean, it really is. But rewatching it does kind of fall apart a little bit at the end. We have kind of rose-colored glasses when we're, talking about Nightmare on Elm Street, but the ending kind of didn't really know what it wanted to do or how to end.
I never really liked Heather, the Heather character.
Heather Langenkamp.
You didn't? I loved Heather.
I thought she was too ditzy. I just could.
But
I love the movie though. But
that was the quintessential 80s girl though, like the 80s girl next door.
Girl Next Door.
She was Girl Next Door, but that movie also pulled a Scream in a way by introducing us to Tina first, and that's the one we're following, and we think Tina's the lead. And then obviously one of my favorite death scenes of all time.
For sure.
Yeah, the rotating room is so impressive and insane for how small that budget was. But But Sydney has always been my favorite final girl. I think she's just the best. Like
Yeah.
she
She's
has all the
still-
good
She's
qualities.
still alive to this day. So
She doesn't
yeah.
just survive these movies, like she fucks shit up
yeah,
along
she
the way.
she
you know?
becomes like Ellen Ripley. She she leans into it and she becomes the hero of the movie. Like she goes, I mean, she's like, screw you, get out of the way. I'm gonna take care of this. You know, come out and get me. I'm done with this, and I'm gonna take you down with, you know.
You know what,
whether you like
Ashty?
it or
It's
not.
funny that you say this is your first kind of Scooby-Doo for adults, because guess who played Shaggy in
Yeah.
the Scooby-Doo movies? Stu.
Yeah.
And he was pretty good. He was
Yeah.
pretty good.
He was this. Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he was the star of the Scooby Doo movies. I mean, as Shaggy.
Yeah, well, I mean, it certainly wasn't the CGI dog. That
No.
was not very good.
And this is coming from somebody who had a crush on Sarah Michelle Gellar. So,
So Scream 1 came out at the end of, I want to say the end of 96, right?
yeah,
Kat?
it was in
December
mid
20th.
90s. Yeah,
Yeah.
1996.
Yeah, so I actually had already graduated from high school at this point, because I graduated in 96, which would be June. But $14 million budget, money well spent. Not a big opening because it just wasn't. It was like, okay, this might be fun. $103 million in America. Remember, $14 million budget. And
Yeah.
then 173.
and that's back then money, not
That's
today
that-
money.
and then
Yeah.
173 worldwide. If you take 14 million and you try to do the math on that, that's a fucking massive hit.
Yeah.
Massive hit, you know. And it was one of those movies that kind of stayed in the box office for a while, fluctuating up and down, you know. But it's you know what it is, because it's a word of mouth movie. Again, Drew Barrymore, a little bit of a draw, obviously the biggest star, and then word of mouth, like, oh shit, but it's not a Drew Barrymore movie. Oh, it's just really good. Blah, blah, blah. The Fonzie's in it, you know. A
Yeah.
lot of shit probably helped.
And Courtney Cox and you know, I mean, after, because this was after
This was Friends
was
had been
after-
on for 2 years. Yeah,
this was after Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio. So Jamie Kennedy has has had a big role in that movie.
Was he in that movie?
Yeah, he was.
I get a headache if
he
I try to
was-
watch that movie. So I just
I love the way that they shot the movie. It's very artsy, fartsy.
it's
type of
Baz
thing.
Luhrmann. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, but yeah, Scream is something that as a horror movie buff, like I love slashers, I love paranormal, I love demonic, I love every type of horror movie that there is out there, and this is definitely one that made a huge impression on the entire horror genre in general.
Yeah.
So
It did. It did. Means a lot to me as far as like just shot composition, just the way it's shot. It's very Wes Craven, where it's like minimalistic, and then all of a sudden it's a little wild. I don't want to say like Raimi, but like it's from a guy who had at this point been doing horror movies for 20 years. And it shows.
And I mean, he didn't want to do anymore. I mean, like he wasn't gonna, as far as I heard anyway, he wasn't gonna make any more movies. But then he got this script, and he was like, "Yes, if I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna come back for something like this." That's the story I heard. I don't know if it's true, but that sounds. I mean,
well, he had done New Nightmare, and he put a lot into that, the
And
meta
it
commentary, and it didn't do good at all. And I actually don't like that movie, but I understand why people do. I think it's kind of shit, but
there are good parts to it, but like the parts when they're in the hospital, and that death scene that kind of mimics the Tina scene from the original Nightmare.
A little bit, and they even get an actress that kind of looks like her.
Yeah, exactly. But other than that, my favorite Nightmare movie is Dream Warriors.
Yeah. Well, a year later, 1 year later, almost exactly 1 year later, they pumped out a sequel. I think it was about 14 months later.
No, 1 year, December 97.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
it was
you're right.
exact. Oh, wow, it was pretty quick then. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will give this movie a ton of credit for how quickly it was made and how quickly, they scattered the location, they changed the story, or I'm sorry, they changed the location. They had to add all these new things, expand on things. And I think the writing is really good as far as like, okay, Cotton Weary, he's an innocent guy now.
Yep.
We still want to put him in the story. And I think it works.
I don't
There's
like
a
Jada
lot of
Pinkett
stuff
Smith.
in there's a lot of stuff in Scream 2 that doesn't work for me. So it's not at, it's not in my top, like, it's not, I mean, I like it a lot, but if you look at this picture right here, it's like, okay, well, two of these characters are kind of irrelevant to the story, but that's what posters do. I get it. Not irrelevant, but just kind of not really that important. I feel so bad for Jamie Kennedy. He never got to be on a single one of the posters of a Scream movie.
I know. I watch his podcast, and he's so open about his time, acting.
He's funny, man. He's a funny dude.
Hilarious. He's so underrated. But one thing I want to point out about this movie is they try to do the same thing with Drew Barrymore that they did with Jada Pinkett Smith in this movie. But
except nobody knew who Jada Pinkett Smith was in 1997.
And not only that, but her death scene was just so like
terrible.
It was so awful. Yeah, it was just so like it was like that death scene with Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Paul Rubens. It was kind of like that. It was like it was just
it wasn't great.
boring.
No, I think this movie has a shit ton of problems, but again, rewatching it the other night, I was like, okay, I like that they're really paying attention to the details of the first movie and using that as not a template to recreate scenes, but to expand the story and the characters. And is it stupid that Sydney and Randy go to the same school? I guess it's possible. Is it stupid that like Dewey and Gail, who are not even in contact, both just show up at the college the day after a Ghostface killing? It is, but I don't know. There's a lot of good things in this movie. There's some good kills. The ending is pretty boring. Like, I wouldn't say it was predictable. Maybe Mickey.
Mickey
but it was
definitely was.
It was pretty boring though. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Talk it out.
I didn't like the opening sequence either. It was too long and drawn out.
How do you know his ear was going to be there?
Yeah, exactly. Right in that exact.
Or who was it? Yeah, that was just weird. Or how do you know he was even going to go into the bathroom, because the guy was already in the next stall.
Yeah.
He just happened, and then he just or maybe he was just waiting to kill whoever came in there, and he just happened to sit next to his girlfriend. But whatever. But
yeah, that's full of plot holes, right?
Well, they make you think it's a random killing, but then you find out that Jada Pinkett Smith's character's name is Maureen, which is Sydney's mom's name.
Yeah, they start doing that, which is a little weird. But
yeah,
you cast David Warner in a throwaway role as the theater director, and it doesn't really go anywhere. I'm like, that was odd casting choice. I thought both of the killers were pretty predictable, because the Debbie Salt thing is the foil to Gail. That was funny the first couple times, but when she was still doing it afterwards, and she says at one point, "What? It just seems to me that if the killer's trying to imitate Woodsboro, maybe he's from Woodsboro."
Oh, yeah.
What? It's like, okay, yeah, you just told me you're the killer. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Mickey disappears at the
and the fact that Sydney never saw Billy's mom walking around campus all this time, like,
or
I
she
don't
never,
know.
and then the fact that Mickey disappears at the halfway point, so process of like, okay, it's gonna be Mickey. So there wasn't much of a mystery factor there, but it has some good set pieces.
Well, I remember people going, "Who the hell is this guy?" Because Mickey is introduced with a little bit of screen time back and forth with Randy, and you think they're going to have a dynamic, but they never do. And then he just pops up at the end as the killer, and there's people in the audience in the theater going, "Who the fuck is that guy?"
Yeah, where was he? But if you do pay attention to that one scene where they're in that film class, I mean, it's so obvious that he's going to be the killer, or at least, I mean, especially if you pay attention to what they did with Billy in the first one,
Yes.
where they make it seem like he's gonna be the killer, and then they over exaggerate and they try to twist that around on you. And
Yeah.
the second time it's like, that's not going to work on me again. Like, you're kind of showing your hand right now. The Debbie Salt thing, I wasn't paying attention to it because I was just thinking about Roseanne the whole time. I was thinking about Aunt Jackie. I was just putting her in that
Roseanne's
role.
sister.
Yeah, and that's all I could think about. So at the end, I didn't know what to think, but then when she explained that she was Billy Loomis's mom and everything, it made sense. So
Mhm.
but
Now we know her as Laurie Metcalf, but back then she was Roseanne's sister.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly, I think.
But with Jerry O'Connell, I loved. We always talk about Sliders for some reason, but I love Sliders so
I love the
much.
first season of Sliders. Yeah.
I liked. I mean, not that it matters, but I liked most of them for the most part, but the first and second one definitely. But anyway, I never thought for a second that he was the killer. That there was he's just too he just has too nice of a presence. Like he could I couldn't see him pulling off a villain, I don't know. That's just how my mind thinks. But
Hey, Citizen 333 is here. Thanks again for being here. Nice to see you. I've only ever watched the first Scream movie. You know what? If you watched the first movie and you left it at that, you would be fine because it's so good. I'd like to hear what you think of it. Hope it's okay that I watch your stream. What?
Get on, Citizen.
You can only watch if you've seen all 6.
You're on the stream. You're on the Scream stream, baby. Yeah. Yeah, this movie has the worst, most cringy scene in any Scream movie, and I'm assuming one or two of you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to try to bring it up here. Let's see. I can't watch much of it because I tried to actually edit in a clip of it, but I got declined. So hopefully I can just show a quick scene. But if you know, it's awful.
Oh, I forgot about. I blacked this out. Yeah,
it is so fucking. The fact that people are like, dude, this guy's cool.
Yeah,
like
he's
Timothy Olyphant's like, yeah, man, my boy's getting laid tonight. It's like, dude, I think he would get his ass kicked right after doing something like that.
Yeah, well, you can tell that the killer right there is looking at him like, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's a rough sit through. It makes my skin crawl. Plus, that brings me to kind of another problem of Scream 2 is that it's literally less than a year later for Randy and Sydney. They're in Windsor College, but they have this whole other group of friends now that love them and they're apparently close. How? Like they just met.
Not that it makes a big difference, but I think it might technically take place 2 years later, even though the movie came out 1 year later.
Even if it does, it might. I don't know. Do they ever say, Kat? Do they ever say it's supposed to take a little bit?
I think
a little bit of a leeway there.
I think it's supposed to take place 2 years after.
That makes sense. Well, but
I think
no, because Sydney's being they're trying to get her in a sorority. And you don't get sophomores into sororities, you get freshmen into sororities. So
I mean, maybe she took a year off after trying to get murdered.
Well, if she did that, then she would still just be meeting these friends. That's I don't know.
True.
It's a small nitpick. I know horror movies, they always do. They did that in Nightmare on Elm Street, where a surviving character now has a new group of friends where she didn't have these friends. I mean, it's fine, but she is like really close to these new people. She's got a boyfriend that's like, I love you. And it's like, when did all this happen? All right, fine.
Well, maybe it's more, maybe it's 4 years. Maybe it's 4 years later. I did watch a video preparing for this because it was number 5, I think, that I didn't see, so I wanted to kind of bone up on it just to see what the deal was with it. And past 3 I didn't really care too much. Number 4 was cool, but like I said, I like the trilogy, the original trilogy. I mean, this one though, what I do like about this one that I wanted to bring up before we move on is the ending where Cotton, in all of his glory, comes back to be the hero to show.
I like it too. Yeah.
I do love that.
I like it how he's kind of basically holding Laurie Metcalf at gunpoint, and he's like, Sydney, can I get the interview?
That's not really a heroic thing if you have to bargain him to get.
It's not. Yeah. And it's not heroic to just murder somebody too the second later.
Yeah, well, you could tell that it was all a ploy to kind of get her defenses down. Miss Loomis's guard
I don't know
down.
if Cotton was playing at that. I think he meant it. He wanted that interview.
You really think so? I think
look at how
that he wanted to be the savior of Sidney Prescott so that he could write his own book, and
Yeah, but if Sydney said no, I'm not giving you the interview, it's not like he was going to let this killer go.
Exactly.
He just might not have killed her.
That's why I think that he was saying all that just to kind of get Debbie Salt, Miss Loomis's guard down for a second, just to save the day and be the hero, so that he could write his book and get his TV show. And regardless. If Sydney said yes or no to the interview, he was going to get an interview because he was the one that saved Sydney and the boyfriend and solved the crime, basically.
Ashty says, I mean, a year or two is enough time to make close friends for people, depending upon how close you are and how. No, I agree. I've made friends in a considerable amount of time similar to that. It's just. Her best friends from Scream are dead, except for Randy, obviously, who she hardly spends any screen time at all in this movie with. Yeah. Nothing. Like, she's barely ever. There's 1 or 2 conversations that they have. Other than that, her roommate totally makes sense because they're roommates. They have their dorm. But then, like when Derek gets like his arm slit and they're in the hospital, you have Mickey going up to Sydney, going, "We're all here for you, Sid. You're not alone." Yeah. It's like, who are you again?
Yeah, exactly.
But fine. Let's just assume, college. I've been to college. I made some great friends there. And I guess this is possible. But at the same time, it's just for Sydney to lean on all these other people, especially when she has all these trust issues. I don't know. Nev Campbell does a great job of kind of acting suspicious of everyone in this movie. And I do like that about Sydney. She's not really, but the fact that she does get a boyfriend again so quickly is weird because you think I'm never going to have a fucking boyfriend again after Billy,
Yeah. But I mean, in trauma situations like that, sometimes, people cling on to a new person to try.
People got to get laid, right? I get it.
Yeah, not only that, but for protection and stuff like that.
But Ashley brought up another good point, and let's talk about it. Randy's death.
That's what I was going to talk about.
Joanne, I want Joanne's opinion. So, I want all of our opinions, but I want Joanne to go first. First of all, did you like that they killed him? And second, did you like how they killed him?
I like that they killed him.
No. I mean, like, what are your thoughts on both of those? Not like, did you enjoy his death, but did you think they handled it properly, and do you think they should have done it in the second movie?
I don't know. I think, it wasn't. It's hard for me to remember that part of this movie. Actually, I was gonna.
It's not hard for. I'm not surprised you're saying that
too.
Because his death scene was almost like a blink and you miss it, and then nobody mentions him afterward.
Yeah. So maybe that means it wasn't handled very well.
Because I mean, this is all in the plot, but keep going until you call on me, and I'll talk. Then I'll.
No, I was gonna say, sorry to shift a little bit, but I'm kind of surprised that you guys are criticizing Scream 2 so much, because we'll get into the rankings later. But I kind of have it pretty high in my ranking. just because.
No, I like Scream. I like Scream too. I'm just pointing out some of the things that don't, that kind of bother me. But anyway.
Yeah. No, that's fair. But going to things that I liked about it, I do like the college setting. Just from a personal perspective, like I was in college during that time, so I thought that was a pretty cool thing. I really enjoyed the introduction of the Stab movie. Because I feel like then they go all in on the meta aspect. Like I think this movie goes more into that and adds more more humor and poking fun at itself.
And it makes
also
it scarier because everybody's wearing, Scream Stab masks.
Right.
So it's like camouflage everywhere,
Yeah, exactly. It kind of starts to make you think like, this could happen in real life. You get copycat killers because they get ideas from movies or TV shows or even shows like Dateline, that are real. It's like, okay, should we start exposing these things because like people are gonna get ideas from it. So I thought that was interesting. I actually liked the introduction of Mrs. Loomis because it's kind of a theme throughout all the movies where they kind of bring back characters that you were maybe not introduced to directly, but you were introduced indirectly, and then things intertwine with like family members a lot in all throughout the movies. So I think it's really cool. Like you feel like it's kind of a small world. So that's just part of the plot twists, which I really think is part of my favorite part of the whole entire series is all these little twists when they bring characters back. And then of course my favorite part is you find, spoiler, but it's been almost 30 years that Dewey survives at the end again.
Yeah.
That's like my favorite part. It's funny
hilarious because how he's introduced in Scream 2 after being stabbed in Scream 1,
and
he's like limping around like he has cerebral palsy or something.
He becomes Doofy from Scary Movie.
Well, I mean, I think I can't remember who else said it, but Dewey's my favorite.
He's my second. Randy's my favorite. Dewey's my second.
That's well done. Yeah, well, that makes sense. Yeah. No, Joanne, Scream 2 is good. It's a fun, good movie with some good horror elements, and I like it that it didn't just repeat the same movie over.
Right.
The scene with the cop car is is high intensity right there. That scene's fucking great. Where for some reason the two cops are knocked out because they hit a small wall. And they're just laying there completely incapacitated. But that scene with the ghost face right there is great. That's kind of where you figure out that there's two ghost face if you're really paying attention, because there's one by the car and then all of a sudden there's one somewhere else. And you're like, oh, okay. But the small details I'm talking about, and Kat probably knows this because, all of you probably do, because if you play that game like I do, like which Ghostface killer did which killing. Mm-hmm. If you watch the movie, Mickey is at the sorority party when Cece, Sarah Michelle Gellar's character is killed. Yeah. If you watch the brutality of that kill, you're like, so you're telling me Laurie Metcalf picked up Cece and chucked her off a balcony? Not impossible.
No, that
but,
was Mickey.
No, it wasn't Mickey though. It couldn't have been Mickey.
I believe it was Mickey because when it comes,
Mickey was at the party.
I guess so, but why would she be at the sorority? When she
it wasn't a sorority party because Cece was like the sober sister, even though I don't know why you need a sober sister when everybody's that's partying is just on campus and they can walk.
Debbie was leaving the scene as everybody was arriving.
I do know that Gail was actually supposed to be killed when Randy got killed by Laurie Metcalf. That scene was set up so to get Gail to go back to see her videographer or cameraman, whatever, and because she had been snubbed the entire movie. That was Laurie Metcalf in the van that was waiting for Gail to come back to the van so that she could kill her. That's what I believe. Anyway.
No,
That's
no,
what
Metcalf did kill Randy, but
yeah,
he also killed Cece, which doesn't make a lot of sense because it was like hardcore upper body strength. But let's just say, Mrs. Loomis was working out. She did say something about losing weight. So, maybe there's that.
maybe.
I didn't mind that they killed Randy that much. I'm like, yeah, I liked him, but really, he's there to tell you the rules, and it's like that kind of guy should be able to figure it out, like because he figured it out in the first movie. He's like, it's Billy and Stu. He's like, you really think, like he tells Stu, you really think that guy's not a killer, even though you should see that Stu's nuts as well. And then the second one, he lays it out for Dewey. This is what's going to happen.
Yeah,
and he's right. But the only dumb thing about it is the fact that he's backing up against a van. It's like,
and he separates himself from the crowd.
Separates himself from the others. But
he's also in daylight too. So I mean, like
bringing him back, he's just gonna do. It's like he's just gonna accurately predict it every time, and that's kind of what his character's there for.
Yeah.
So
it kind of gives him
especially
a way
after
out.
his role in Scream 3, which is like, wait a minute, so you made a videotape warning your friends about trilogies. It's like, why didn't you just tell them, hey, on the off chance I don't survive? It didn't make a lot of sense. And it's like,
but it was I guess I was just nostalgic for,
but it's kind of I like Randy too, but it's like at the end of the day, he's just there to tell you the rules. And
for sure. But that's why I loved him so
much. And he's not that bright when
he represented
the video store scene where Stu and Billy corner him. He should have fucking known right there.
Well, he did. I mean,
but he didn't though, because he's still drunk in Stu's house, just completely vulnerable. But
he did mention you don't think that Billy's he's crazy, like you don't think that he's probably the killer,
Well, I think they could have done a little bit more with Randy, but again, the second movie, like the reason I'm okay with his death is because I appreciate in a second movie killing off a main character from the first one, but actually giving him a decent amount of screen time before you do it. It wasn't like the setup at the beginning. He was halfway through the movie. The thing is you could have, his character in the first one is that he's in love with Sydney. But he's also sort of friends with Stu and Billy. Like they all seem like they're friends, but they're just all kind of strange. So you never really know who actually likes anybody in Scream because they're all just sort of weirdos.
Well, especially Billy.
In the first movie, they made a good call because Dewey was supposed to die in the first movie, and at the end of the shoot, they're like, you know what? Maybe we should have him survive. And so they showed him getting loaded in an ambulance. That's the best decision.
I think he was supposed to die in the second movie too.
Well, I know watching the Jamie Kennedy experiment, the podcast that he does, that he wasn't actually supposed to die in the movie. Like they had to kill off somebody important, and they didn't want to kill Randy off because they liked the character that knew what, like, because he represented us. He represented the audience in the movie. He was us watching the movie as the the meta character that knows what's going to happen. Like, look behind you. He's going to do, that type of thing. But like you said, they had to kill off a important character.
I would have killed off Gail simply because
I was going to say the same thing.
I love Gail, but her story arc of sort of coming through in the end in Scream 1 and being one of the heroes and kind of falling for Dewey, and then sort of screwing them all over a little bit in the second one because she wanted to write a book. If you had killed Gail in the second one in a moment of another sort of like self-sacrifice or heroism or something like that, it would have worked great because she's sort of just treading water for every other sequel, just doing the same thing. I'm your friend by the end, but then I screw you over in the next one, and it just kind of
I'm going to write another book and tell all about this.
That's her character. She's a tabloid media person.
That's what I mean. But you don't need that in every movie.
Yeah. But you can't really have Randy in every movie because he's too smart. Would it really be believable by Scream 4 that he still hasn't figured out who it is right off the bat?
No,
His
and
knowledge is
again,
going to get bigger and bigger. He would have.
and again, it would have got
that.
super ridiculous if Randy, for some reason, just ended up in LA for no reason. We're gonna let's jump into 3 because three is a mess. Like it's not terrible, but it's a fucking mess. You know.
Oh,
So let's get.
I disagree. I actually that's one of my favorites. I mean,
all right. Well, no, hey, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I think it's when. And again, this movie was not supposed to be. I'll just preface this really quickly. Scream 3 had a completely different script, completely different story, and then Columbine happened, and that changed everything. Yeah, it changed. It didn't just change like how they were going to glorify violence. It also changed the entire plot of the movie. So that's why I give this movie a little bit of slack, because it was sort of like, oh fuck. And this one took a 2-year time gap, which was good. We needed a little breather, you know. So it worked in that sense. But Theta, you love this one, so let's start out with Kat.
A lot of people.
So let's ignore Theta for this one, and we'll skip to the fourth.
No.
You
know what? We'll go Kat, Theta.
No, I'm just kidding around.
A lot of people bag on this movie because they say it's a comedy, but that's kind of the point, because they're making fun of the absurdity of trilogies, which is, let's make everything super personal and retcon everything and back to the beginning.
Right.
And that's what Scream 3 is doing. And what better way to do that than have it be, hey, we're making a Stab sequel. And, in the context, it's Stab 3. And so it's like, yeah, he's in the idea that it's the killer is some long lost brother. They're doing this ridiculous retcon. It's like, yeah, they're making fun of what Hollywood does to other good franchises by doing that stuff. And then the more retrospective of how it's commenting on the whole casting couch controversy. And it's really funny because, you know, Wes Craven notoriously pushes back against people who say violence in movies creates psychopaths, which is one of the reasons he loved that line that Kevin wrote in the first movie, which is that, you know, movies don't create killers, they make them more creative.
Yeah.
I just thought it was ironic that in this movie it turns out to be Hollywood, which in the retcon created this entire trilogy.
Yeah.
And it was funny, and it was clever, and yeah, it's more of a deliberate comedy, but all the characters are there. It's kind of fun. I thought they did a good job with Suspects, something that they don't really do as great a job later through the series. And I didn't really mind that it was being pitched as a comedy. It's like, yeah, they're in on the joke. And it's like, and the question is the audience in on the joke? And at the time it was released, most people weren't, and they just kind of made fun of it and hated it. But I didn't think it was that bad.
No. Yeah, it's a funny movie, and I'm fine with it being a comedy. I mean, dude, it has a cameo from Jay and Silent Bob in it for fuck's sake, you know. But it also like setting it in the Hollywood setting makes sense to me. And the fact I wanted the movie's finale though to end in that Woodsboro set. I'm kind of bummed that it just ended up at some random rich guy, you know, obviously Roman's house or whatever. Should have been on that set. That would have been super meta, super fucking fun. But you have a couple of scenes there that are fun. No, this movie's it's got its moments. But it struggles a lot because they had to hold back on the violence. And the Jenny McCarthy kill was supposed to be pretty gnarly, and it kind of cuts away. And then they had a guy killed via fax machine in an explosion. That was not in the original script. That's an easy way to kill somebody and show nothing. You know, it's fine. It's fine. But you guys go. Yeah. Tear it away. Tear away.
I honestly, Kat kind of took the words out of my mouth. I love the meta commentary that, I mean, it reminds me of how, like George Lucas always says, you know, movies don't repeat, they rhyme, or whatever the quote he says is. And this movie rhymes with the first movie. I love the meta commentary on how Hollywood is the reason for these murders. I mean, literally, Kat, I mean, you really kind of took the words out of my mouth and put them into into words that actually sound intelligent and well thought out. So
that's her MO.
So. Yeah, so I completely agree, and I love how again, this is the last time I'll bring it up. But I love that they loved Jamie Kennedy, Randy's character, so much that they brought back a character related to him to have. I mean, even though as corny as it is, but that's the point, is that it's like it's supposed to be corny. It's supposed to be a comedy. It's supposed to be a meta commentary and stuff. And so by having that VHS about the trilogy and everything, it speaks to what the whole film was supposed to be, which was meta commentary. Especially now that you're telling me that this happened, there a lot of changes happened because of the Columbine thing. Makes perfect sense exactly why they took the route that they did with the story, with the the kills and everything like that.
I want to say I love it that his sister was played by Heather Matarazzo, who I love so much from Welcome to the Dollhouse. If you guys haven't seen that movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've seen her in so many things.
She was in a lot of stuff in the 90s. Yeah. And then obviously they brought her back in Scream 5, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they did. That's the one I haven't seen. So.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so that's why I love that. So go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, this one I think it made sense as a continuation. As Kat said, it's a Stab 3, and then the part I think I like the most, which I kind of mentioned earlier, was like family drama. Like the plot thickens with you find out that Sydney has a half brother, and about the mom's affair. So it adds to the motive, and it adds
affairs, to plural.
Yeah, right. So it just kind of like thickens the plot and the intertwining of the family drama. I think that was pretty cool. So I thought it wasn't my favorite, but it made sense as a continuation. And like you said, after what Ben just told us, it makes even more sense that it took more of a comedy route to it. So yeah.
This movie was, when I called it a mess at the beginning, it had more to do with just the production of it. Like Neve Campbell had 3 other things going on. She was wrapping up the final season of Party of 5. She could only shoot on this movie for 20 days, like it's less than 3 weeks. And it shows when she's isolated in this cabin for the first, act and a half of this movie,
25 minutes or so,
and she only kind of shows up randomly, and she is in the best scenes because she's Sydney fucking Prescott. She's a legend.
Damn great.
I mean, there's a lot of things in this movie you're like, man, yeah. And maybe I think when I saw it in the theater, I was like, there's something off about this one. It just doesn't have the punch of the first 2, and I was fine with the comedy because Kat is totally right. It's like it's making fun of those trilogies, and Theta is also right. Like the Randy tape scene is great because he's the one telling you like the trilogy is going to bring it back around to the past in the first one. Forget what you know about the past. The past is coming back, and obviously it makes sense at the end. And I do love its ambition to only have one killer in this movie. My biggest issue with this movie is who the killer is sort of destroys everything which made Stu and Billy so cool in the first one. If you believe what he says.
Yeah, I do agree with that, but
they didn't. They weren't puppets to this guy's thing. They were insane high school kids that made a horror movie in their heads and played it out. And then when you add on this guy going, well, I use them to do this, and this, it kind of destroys the motive of Stu and Billy.
But Billy was also gonna frame Stu. Remember?
Yeah.
Stu thought we're gonna plan the sequel, and Billy's sneering at him because he's sniggering because he knows, like when he stabs him, Stu's like
digs deep in that stab.
He says, I think you cut me too deep. I'm dying here, man. It's like that's the point.
Yeah.
He's gonna kill Stu as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I love Stu and he's bleeding out. My parents are gonna kill me.
Oh yeah,
that was like his main motivation in that movie was against Sydney and her mom more than random psychopathy. But I do like how I do find it funny that Harvey Weinstein's a producer on Scream 3, and the villain in the movie is like a Lance Henriksen playing a Harvey Weinstein character.
Oh god,
who spearheaded the whole thing. It's so funny.
I do want to mention the God, never mind. I forgot. I lost it.
I hate that.
Yeah, Cat had said something, and oh yeah, about convincing Roman convincing Billy and Stu.
Yeah, yeah.
That whole thing. You could take that in two different ways, like completely literally, or just giving subtle hints, like just talking about film, talking about horror movies, like giving, like, you know what I mean, like
Well, he said he
Hollywood.
also only talked to Billy. He didn't talk to Stu. 'Cause
Well,
one of the
that's
things
true.
one of the things he said he told Billy is make sure to have a dumb fall guy.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right, Thady. You could take it in a way where it's like they were going to do this anyway. He just
Yeah.
sort of
kinda
like put
nudged
their
it.
trajectory in order, maybe, but it still kind of hurts
Yeah,
a little
I
bit.
hear
Of,
ya.
you know,
Yeah.
but again, one killer, yes, that's fucking great. And Sydney's final sort of battle with him or whatever, pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. And then him
you know.
having a bulletproof vest, and it kind of a bit like, instead of like feeling like it's a supernatural killer, like we always felt like in the first two movies, like
Yeah.
they always got shot and then they got back up and they disappeared and stuff like that. And then this one, you kind of see like he's wearing a bulletproof vest that that tells you everything.
That's why Sydney goes for the head.
Exactly.
Like Thor.
Another
Exactly.
little mess in this movie is you could tell that late in the script, what's her name? One of the other girls, the actress who was playing the Sydney role, was supposed to be the other killer.
Oh,
And
yeah.
She
you could
was.
tell
She was.
when you watch the movie that that's still supposed to be the case.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they didn't-
They
and once
cut,
they
they
changed
cut
their mind,
around
they
it.
didn't-
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't. They tried to cut around it, but you could still tell that
Yeah.
that was supposed to happen. But I thought that
It was. Yeah.
And-
I'm glad you brought that up. I totally almost forgot about that. Yeah. The Sydney. Yeah. That actor, the short hair girl. Yeah. She was supposed to be the second killer. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
And-
kind of glad that they cut it out, but in retrospect, you can see those building blocks in there of that. But
And what's funny too is the guy that plays Randy's character in Stab movie is a black athletic, like jock looking guy, like you could see him be on the basketball team, and it's like I don't see him being like this horror nerd, like,
Right.
I don't know.
I
Maybe
keep
it's
forgetting to bring up the Stab movies, like Tori Spelling,
yeah,
which is a great callback to the first movie where she's like, "Who's going to play me in the movie?" Tori
Yeah.
Spelling, and then Luke Wilson just looking like a total
Yeah.
doofus.
Oh man, yeah. You're
Speaking
right.
of which, I thought it was funny when Wes Craven asked the actor playing Gail's cameraman in the second movie, "Hey, we haven't really decided what you do with your character. What should we do?" And he's like, "Honestly, Wes, if I found somebody gutted inside my camera van, I'm leaving. I'm getting a cab and I'm gonna leave." And he's
I
like,
love
"Really?"
it that
And
I
so
love
they
it
let
that
him
the
actually
cameraman-
call a cab and walk away in a cab and come back at the end.
I
of
love
the
it that
movie.
the cameraman, Gail's cameraman in the second movie, just says, "Fuck this, I'm out," and then he
Yeah.
shows up at the
Yeah.
very final scene, having survived because he's the smartest person in the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we know what happens to Gail's
I had
cameraman
forgotten
in the
about
first
that, but
movie.
yeah.
And I do like the end of the third movie when Dewey proposes to Gail.
Yeah,
that's
with
finishing a nice
the
arc, 'cause
book opening.
As
the
much
book,
as they're
Great arc.
fighting with
Great
each
arc,
other
yeah.
throughout the trilogy, you could tell that they like each other a lot.
Oh
Right.
yeah,
And I do love David Putty from Seinfeld,
yeah.
calling
yeah.
Dewdrop,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and who can forget Parker Posey,
Sure.
just mimicking Gail, and
Gail, yeah.
I think one of the best cameos ever, and I'm going to play it right now.
Hey, are you?
No.
But you look just.
Like her? I've been hearing it all my life.
It's uncanny.
I was up for Princess Leia. I was this close. So who gets it? The one who sleeps with George Lucas.
That scene is pretty funny, even if it's
I-
right in your face. But I love
I
her name is
didn't
like
get that.
Bianca Burnett or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get that for a long time until I actually like watched it and actually read, because I always just I never read it. I just looked at the picture and I just imagined that it said Carrie Fisher underneath it. So it took
But-
me like 5 times watching it before I actually read it, and I was like, oh, she's supposed to be somebody that looks exactly like Carrie Fisher.
Yeah. Bumpmaster 1806. Yes. it's never blatantly said, and clearly these were like Weinstein properties because Craven did a lot of Weinstein stuff. Actually, I don't know if these were Weinstein movies. I know
They were.
Cursed was. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they were.
This one- yeah,
But
all-
Weinstein was basically ousted in the movie way before the. Yeah. Basically, just I think it was Lance Hendrickson
Yeah.
that kind of plays this
But he
sleazebag
basically-
motherfucker.
He tries to admit, oh yeah, I was known for my wild parties, and well, nobody did things to people they weren't. And he's trying to like dance around it, and it's like, yeah, we know what you did.
Well,
It's crazy, dude. Insiders in Hollywood were trying to tell us, even in '97, or in '99, like what's going on. You know, what's really going on? Casting couch, no. You know,
Isn't this
But,
the movie that Cotton Weary is the first one to get killed?
Yes.
He's
Yeah,
the Drew
yeah.
Barrymore. Okay.
it's
yeah.
my another one of my tiny
yeah.
tiny nitpicks about this movie. How do you guys feel about the fact that in 1999, based off a telephone conversation recording, you can mimic anyone's voice using a voice machine?
Yeah.
It's really dumb.
Yeah.
I get why they did it, to make it different and to really throw you off on who they're talking to on the phone, but it didn't work for me.
Yeah. That was just too much. I did like the idea that Cotton became a total blowhard TV host, though. I thought that was
Yeah,
funny.
100%.
100% caught.
Yeah.
You're not scared, are you?
Dewey was suspect number 3 in my mind the first time I saw
Yeah,
it. I'm like,
he-
dude, this
he always
motherfucker
was
shows up
back then.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, he was always in the back of my head, like, when are they gonna make Dewey the killer?
I'm so glad they never did, but
Yeah.
I hate what they did with him. And we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll move on to Scream 4, but I hate what Dewey's final fate was. It sucks. But last thing here, not last thing. Yes, I love Camera Guy from 2. He was awesome. He was just smart. He's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll come back when I hear that all this is done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know what goes on. If there's murders going on, I am out of here.
So
did Dewey die in part 5? Because I don't remember him dying in part 4.
Well, we'll get there.
Okay, so it
Scream
was something
3
that I missed.
Scream 3 was made on a $40 million budget and grossed 161. Scream 1, 2, and 3 were massive hits, but diminishing returns a little bit in 3.
They also dumped Scream 3 in February 2000, and back then February was especially the dumping ground for Hollywood, and everybody knew it.
Well, yeah, January and February are one of the two.
They
of the worst
used to
months.
be, yeah. Now you can get some pretty good shit in
Yeah,
those
now you
months.
can, but back then, if a movie's releasing in February, it's like, oh, the studio doesn't really have much faith in this movie.
Yeah. Well, and that might be because of the Columbine thing, like
I think it was.
About.
I think it was. I think it was supposed to come out in December of '99, but
that would have made sense. Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be Stu alive in prison orchestrating Ghostface killings.
That's what Scream 3 was supposed to be. Stu lived and had sort of like a cult almost.
Yeah.
So this one, then we jumped to 11 years later, and this one was not well received because I think people were just looking at a little bit more of elevated horror and torture porn, which had become a thing in between Scream 3 and Scream 4. So you had your Saw movies and certain
Hostel.
things like that. I love this fucking movie. I agree. Cinematography wise, it looks terrible. For some reason, Wes Craven and his DP used a really strange filter on it. But I think it's the best sequel to Sidney Prescott's story. I think it has the best new characters. It was way ahead of its time. This was 2011, and it's like, okay, well, now we're going to have characters who the motivations of the killers are to do it all on YouTube, do it all online. It's like, that's chef's kiss for this.
Yeah.
And this hadn't even really been a thing yet. That was like 2 or 3 years later that everybody wanted to, kind of show their whole lives on camera. So I love how this one plays out.
It's
this movie is the most graphic, it's the most graphically violent one of all of them, at least up to this point. The violence is fucking great. The humor's there. It starts out with that weird movie inside a movie, which I thought worked pretty well. It's kind of funny. Gail and Dewey are married. He's the sheriff of Woodboro, and she's just kind of a book writer at this point. and Sydney's coming back into town because she wrote a book about surviving what she's gone through, and it's a perfect setup. Perfect setup. What do you guys think? Joanne.
I loved it.
Or Theta.
Sorry. Go ahead, Pat.
Oh yeah, no,
Good job.
I liked it too. It's gonna rank pretty highly on my list. I like the the cousin Jill. I thought she was a great character. But yeah, overall, I thought it was cool. Like Ben said, the themes about like internet celebrity. It was just like very very relevant. So yeah, it's a good one, and the good kills too.
Beta.
Yeah, I think it's the evolution of information media. I think it's like you said, with YouTube moving along. At first it was about making a good film. Then it was about getting back for killing the son of the first killer. Then it's about a family reunion type of thing. Making the director of Stab becoming the killer for this thing. So it's kind of an evolution of moving up in the chain. And then we finally get to the social media, YouTube, content creation type of thing. And I loved I don't remember the guy's name. I think it was Charlie.
Yes, Charlie. Yeah.
Charlie, the guy who looked like Rory Culkin. I
think he is Rory Culkin, isn't he?
Is it Rory? Okay,
It is Rory Culkin.
Okay. I didn't know if I just made that up, but he looked a lot like him, so I always just think of him as Rory Culkin. So I guess I was right the whole time. But anyway, I thought that he was awesome. I thought that he played. There's always, except for in part 3, there's always a fall guy, and obviously Charlie was the fall guy. He actually was a Randy character because he knew all about horror movies. Like he was the guy that knew how to make these kills untraceable and stuff like that, and how this all was going to work, especially when Jill was the other killer? Is that what that was her name? Yeah. So when they were working together, she wanted all the fame and fortune, and to be the surviving scream queen, as it were, no pun intended. But Charlie was the brains of the operation and the fall guy. I thought it was brilliant. Hayden Panettiere was one of the best parts of that movie.
She's the true Randy substitute, Kirby, because she's a true horror fan. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like a immovable object meets I always get these fucking phrases confused.
Unstoppable Force.
Unstoppable Force meets an immovable object. Thank you. I feel like an idiot. But thank you, Kat, for. Yeah, that's me right there. But yeah, so I really enjoyed this movie, and with those two characters, they both knew their shit when it comes to horror movies, and I really enjoyed this movie, and it's the last one I saw. So I did watch so we can talk about 5 because I know about it, but
there's stuff in Scream 2 and in Scream 3 that would be good to know going into this movie, but technically you could go from 1 to 4 because it's the first return to Woodsboro, but obviously you want to know the whole story because you have Gail and Dewey together, and I mean you should watch them all, but technically you could go from 1 to 4 and kind of pick up the pieces because it is like the anniversary and it's pretty much the first. I mean, it's kind of insinuated that it's Sydney's first time back. One of the main reasons I really like this movie is because even though people were like, well, Sydney's not really the main character. Well, she's not the main character in part 3 either because she's not in that much of it. But Sydney fucking crushes in this movie, dude. Like she knows all the rules. The ending of this movie is so cool. Like I love that it's got 2 or 3. It's got basically like 3 different endings to it. And Nev Campbell in like her mid-30s is just looking like a fucking she's just amazing. I love her in this movie, and I love her book assist or her like editor or whatever, played by Alison Brie, who gets a
I love her.
gets a great death scene. And then you have like Anthony Anderson and the guy from like the OC or whatever just get killed in these weird ways. This movie balances out what I think 3 couldn't do, which is the humor and then the horror, and knowing when to get serious and knowing when to stay sort of goofy. I think this one does a little better. I just think Scream belongs in Woodsboro, but I get why you have to move locations, but it just works better when you're there. For me, the LA thing, fine, but it's so scattered. It doesn't give you that claustrophobia feeling, and the college did a good job of it, you know, but like we'll get into the further ones where they go to New York where you're like, yeah, that could work, you know, but I just love this one as a great sequel to the story, and her coming back for the book and the anniversary. And I love Gale and Dewey's story in this one. I wish it kind of would have ended here with how they end up together, and you know they're married and blah blah blah. But anyway, Kat, Scream 4.
So, like you, I hated the cinematography. Like,
yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
All of the outdoor daytime scenes look like they were shot on stage. Like the high key lighting, the whole movie's got this real pasty look, and apparently that was deliberate because Wes Craven thought a lot of horror remakes looked bad and bland, and since this movie's satirizing remakes, he's trying to make it look just as bad. And to me, that's like a big turnoff with this movie. It's like, don't make your movie look bad because of that. Make a joke in another way. Don't make it look like eh. Another thing is that that's not Woodsboro. I'm sorry, but Woodsboro is the Santa Rosa area, and that was so visually distinctive in the first movie. And this, you could tell it's Michigan, where they actually shot it, and that really bugged me because it's like, you know, sort of like how in the Dark Knight Rises they suddenly go from Chicago to New York, and it's like, and Pittsburgh. It's like, wait, what happened to Chicago? So this just that felt a little off. I like the idea that the killer is somebody who just wants to be famous for, you know, for the sake of being famous, because that was something that was unbelievably obnoxious back then. The fact that Jill is such a psychopath that she has no understanding that Sydney hates her celebrity status. It's like even Sydney's publisher doesn't get it. The publisher's excited about the murders because, oh, we can sell more books. She's like, excuse me, but did you even read my book? And she's like, oh, well, you know, and she fires her for that. So I dug that. I like that they decided to make arguably one of the 2 new Randys in this movie one of the killers, because people are like, yeah, if those characters were still around, one of the popular things to say these days is, oh, they should have made Gale the killer. They should have made Dewey the killer. It's like, well, they're going to do a version of that with one of the new Randys being the killer. And if you actually play that game Ben was talking about of Guess Who Killed Who, Charlie Walker has the highest body count of any Ghostface. He pretty much kills every single person in this movie. Which is pretty nuts. Jill is just kind of along for the ride and manipulating him into doing all these things. I did love that Dewey, in true to his character, he's a terrible sheriff. It's like, I'm sorry, but so much terrible stuff happened. You should not be sheriff. I'm sorry, Dewey. I love you, but no. And I like
he does like lemon squares.
Yeah, and that was again. It does a good job of setting up some suspects. Like, okay, this other Judy Hicks character is kind of pushing it really hard. Does she just have a crush on Dewey, or is it bigger than that? And I like that Gale isn't really at home being stuck in Woodsboro, because it makes sense. She's started out as like a tabloid reporter who wants to take off. So you can see how their relationship is kind of iffy. So I thought the story was overall really good. And yeah, part of the hospital climax was a bit ridiculous, but that's on par for these movies. But yeah, I think this is a pretty solid entry and definitely the goriest one.
Hey, I want to say hey to Scotty, 37.
Yeah, I was just replying to him. Yeah, we already talked about that.
Yeah, Jay and Silent Bob in this movie are technically in the Scream universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. You know, revisiting, Kat just reminded me of something, like revisiting Scream 1 the other day, because you had said like the Randy character in this one actually is one of the killers. If you rewatch Scream 1, almost every time someone is calling somebody as the Ghostface voice, or a Ghostface jumps out, people go, Randy, is that you? Everybody thinks it's Randy.
Yeah,
Like, it's great.
Well, it's even, I mean, they even want us as the audience to think it's Randy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for being here, Scotty. Good to see you, brother. He was invited, but he doesn't know these movies that well outside of Jay and Silent Bob. But yeah, this was the first. And again, you got to give this movie a little bit of a pass because it came out 11 years later, and it was doing what we all know now is like a legacy sequel, if you want to call it that. So it didn't do very well because people were just in a different mind. Yeah, Kat.
They teased you into thinking it was going to do that by introducing a new hip young cast, but then they tricked you because, like, nope, Sydney's going to be the hero. We're not going to let Jill be the hero.
But I was fine with that, though. I was fine.
I know everybody was fine with that, but that was the trick. They weren't going to pass on the legacy characters like other movies do. They were actually going to make the legacy characters more the center of it, as they do in this movie. And actually, this was supposed to springboard a new trilogy that Wes Craven was going to helm, but because it radically underperformed, they canceled the plans for it.
So it up until this point, it cost us. I'll give it credit. 11 years later, and it only costs the same amount to produce as part 3. A lot of that having to do with the fact that it's a return to Woodsboro. They shoot up in Northern California. They shoot in Canada, as opposed to LA, the settings you get in part 3. So, the budget was $40 million.
Shot in Michigan.
Is that where it was shot in Michigan? This one? Yeah. But you have a total worldwide gross of 97, which means it took a loss, and nobody really cared about it.
There wasn't much fanfare going into it.
There wasn't, and I liked it right away. And
because that they were also making the TV show on MTV at the exact.
I think
same
that came
time.
a few years later, like 2015, 2016. I think.
Oh, I thought.
I think it has more to do with what you mentioned earlier, Ben. That horror this time is moving towards torture porn, and I hate the term elevated horror. I hate it. It's like
I hate it too, but I did say it.
Rosemary's Baby. It's like, geez. But horror was moving more in that direction, and basic slashers were kind of not as in demand at the time. So the idea of a movie that's continuing to make fun of slashers suddenly coming out is like, eh.
Yeah, and it was a different generation completely. Like they redid, they made a 4th American Pie movie, and it didn't perform well because it came in a different generation where, I thought it was funny, but it didn't get the younger audience there. And Scream 4 I'm so happy it's had this resurgence of a lot of people saying it's one of the better movies, but at the time it just didn't do well. People didn't care. But I fucking love it. I think it's fantastic. And I love the new characters. I love what they do with all of, the legacy character. I hate that term as well, but and these two were fantastic in it. They were standouts. Kirby was fantastic, and Jill being the damsel in distress, possibly final girl where Sydney's gonna die to save this person, and that didn't happen. And this movie had some huge hairy nuts for like kind of how they kind of turned the tables and made her just absolutely unhinged and just bashing her head into mirrors and jumping on the table. I was like, fuck yeah, man. Give me that shit all day.
Yeah. She gave it 110%. That's for sure. She was really going for it.
Isn't the actress like a Julia Roberts?
She's Eric Roberts' daughter.
Yeah.
So she's Julia Roberts' niece. Okay. Got it. All right. Moving on. Scream 5. I
did.
I don't like it.
Oh, really?
I'm just not a fan of Scream 5. But let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Maybe we can change my mind. I find it mean-spirited, and it loses everything about the Scream franchise as far as like, what are we doing? What's the meta joke? Why is it not funny? or why is it not funny? I don't know. I just it kind of
I
lost
thought it
me
was
with this one.
hilarious when they reveal what's going on and
All
why
right.
it's happening. I'm like, this is great.
Well, I don't. Yeah, no, that's true, but I don't know if that was supposed to be the funny part. But yeah.
Oh yeah, it definitely was. Even even Ryan Johnson got a special thanks shout out, and you could tell they're trying to skewer him in this movie, but even he loved it.
All right.
Great.
Well, I can tell I'm gonna get skewered on this one, but
I know,
yeah,
it's
it just didn't. It
yeah.
didn't work for me. But you
It's
guys
like-
go. You guys go.
So first of all, once again, it's supposed to be Woodsboro, but they shot it in North Carolina, and you could tell. And they did not feel it was worth spending the money to go back to Stu Macher's actual house in near Santa Rosa, and so they rebuilt it on a set, and you could tell. So
Yes, you can.
Yeah, it was a little. I was thinking, okay. I like that I mean, it was a little hokey to say that. Oh, the protagonist of this one is Billy Loomis's illegitimate daughter. It's like, okay.
That's what I
Because-
just learned earlier today.
Yeah, it's like, and I get that they're
Fucking
trying to come
AI,
up with new
AI
protagonists.
fucking illusions and shit.
who is who? Yeah, I mean, I not that it
Well, they're
matters,
trying to
but
tie
who
it
is
in,
he
but I
sleeping with?
love the meta commentary on who the killers are and why they're doing it. Which I don't know. I don't want to spoil it for Theta, so maybe I won't mention it.
No, I already like I said, I watched a video earlier.
Oh, okay,
about
yeah.
this
So the
movie.
idea that it's because the stab movies have always been like a funny meta commentary on horror in general and how their lives are mimicking these things. And so I like the idea that the killers are like super
family.
fans of the movies who hate the fact that the
Yeah.
movies went off the rails. And like, we need to give Hollywood new ideas by luring Cindy out and, creating something else. And it's funny because it's supposed to be ridiculous. It's like, sort of like, again, Scream 3. It's like a parody of itself. And Scream 5 is making fun of that aspect of fandom, but poking fun at it in a kind of funny way. I like that they continue the character arc of Dewey. Because like, yeah, I didn't buy that Gail was going to stay in Woodsboro. Whereas
I hated it.
Woody is all about Dewey is all
Dewey.
about Woodsboro. He's clearly not going to leave.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned, he was a terrible sheriff in Scream 4. So yeah, I could see him not being in the department anymore. He's super depressed that Gail's gone. But you know what? The great thing about it is that he's still Dewey, and if people need help with a ghost face, he's going to get off the couch and come back and help save the day.
Right.
I just really hated that they killed him in this one.
Yeah.
Me too.
Especially since the Mikey Madison character is the one who does it. And I'm like, wait a minute. She's really
Exactly. There's
She
no
sticks a
way.
knife in his back, raises him up in the air. You could
Yeah.
tell whoever the stunt guy is wearing the costume. This is like a tall guy. Like, it's clearly not her, but it's like supposed to be her because the other guy's in the elevator.
Dude,
So-
even Jack
it's
Quaid
supposed to be
couldn't.
the-
Jack
it's
Quaid
supposed to
couldn't
be
have
the little
lifted up.
girl?
Yeah,
Jack Quaid couldn't have lifted him up either. You know?
right. It's just okay. That part was ridiculous, but I did
I
like.
thought it was the father though. It was supposed to, when I saw
You're
that
talking about
scene.
the wrong movie. Yeah.
Oh, I am. Oh, okay.
I liked the meta joke of that of who the killers were, and I thought it was funny that Judy, who was totally hitting on Dewey within the fourth movie so much, she's the new sheriff. And it's like, okay, I could see. How
I like that aspect. I like that Officer Lemon Squares is now the sheriff. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
It's now the sheriff.
Okay,
and-
so is the new movie coming out part 7? Or
Yes.
part 6. Oh,
Part 7.
that's why I'm confused. So I haven't seen part 5 or 6.
Yeah,
Okay.
those two go together.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I'm confused. Okay, I'm sorry.
but that was
No, that's
fun.
all right.
And I like how that makes sense. Like, you would wonder at this point, you have to really come up with a good reason to bring Sydney back into this, because there's a point where even the fans are going to go, okay, this is getting a bit ridiculous that it's always going back to Sydney, especially with new generation who don't even know Sydney. So the fact that it took killing Dewey to bring her back, that tracks. I could buy
Yeah.
that she would come back for Dewey. And I like that
The
this is
one
the first
person that
movie
would
where
come back
she's
for her.
this is the first movie where she really has a change in her character where she's like, I'm not going to try and let the whole trauma thing get to me as much. You know what? You killed Dewey. You motherfucker, you're going down. And she shows up and she brings her Kevlar. She brings her gun. It's like, we're going in. And the fact that she and Gail are like, yeah, let's go kill these bitches. I'm like, yes, finally. She's kind of overcome a lot of that trauma to the point that she can actually, it's not like she's being bullied into a corner and having to kill her way out of it. Like, no, she's actively deciding that I'm going to do something to try and put a stop to this for a change.
My favorite thing about this movie is that it has Kyle Gallner in it. I love Kyle Gallner.
That's right.
Star of my two of my favorite movies of the last 6 years.
Who are
Which one is he?
Who is the murderer in this one?
Jack Quaid and Mikey Madison.
Yeah, so it's the boyfriend who you kind of figure like, okay, he can't be the killer because he's out in like, where's he supposed to be, Kat? Like Southern California with Sam?
No,
They're
it's supposed to be
somewhere.
Modesto.
Yeah, they're in Modesto when they find out that Tara, Jenna Ortega, was attacked by a ghost face. So you're like, okay,
So
there's no way it could be him because he's not there. But then you're like, oh yeah, he totally did it. And for the whole entire movie, I'm like, yeah, Jack Quaid is the killer.
So in the poster, the people that are surrounding,
So he's the guy to
Sydney-
the left of Sydney.
Yeah,
it's Dennis Quaid's son. He's great. He's in The Boys.
Oh, okay, okay.
He's awesome. He's in a lot of good shit. Yeah.
It's Meg Ryan's son too, right?
And I admit the one other thing that really did bug me, where I was like, absolutely not, is when they brought back Randy's sister, and his niece and nephew are kind of like the new Randy in this. And I'm like, there's no way that after seeing how Randy's sister was still dealing with that loss in Scream 3, that she would let her kids even get involved in this shit. She's like, no, we would be getting the fuck out of Dodge because I'm not going to let you. And yet she's like,
it was
her
bizarre.
reaction is like, she cooks a bunch of food for them and brings it down on a tray. And she's like, ooh, suspects. And I'm like, no.
As good as it was to see Heather Matarazzo back again as Randy's sister, it was bizarre how chill she is about what's going on. It's like,
she's too chill about it. I'm like, no way.
It was almost like she forgot that Scream 4 happened and it's already happened in Woodsboro twice now. But it was a glorified cameo. She wasn't even playing a character. She was just playing, I'm glad to be here, so I'm going to deliver some dialogue.
I did think
everything
overall
I've seen her in, she's either very stoic, very very emotional, like very sad, or just there.
When Heather Matarazzo got that phone call that they're like, hey, we'll pay you $20,000, you show up for 2 hours, she was like, oh, the dance with somebody.
Yeah.
That's how happy she was.
After watching that, I stole that clip and I played it on my stream. It was just I couldn't help myself. It was too funny.
Why not? Arnold.
Yeah.
I do think as far as legacy sequels in general go, this is one of the better ones. I thought it was a little bit more clever.
I've been told that I'm wrong, so I'm perfectly fine
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying that.
Oh, no, I'm not saying you're saying that, Kat. This one just didn't work for me, but I remember I saw this movie with Joanne and a couple other people, and I kind of walked out of it a little sour on it, where I think my biggest problem is like Sidney Prescott to me is the franchise. And the way she was sort of used, it was almost like a metaphor for how the actress was approached. Like, hey, we're making a Scream movie. Let's call up Neve Campbell halfway through the movie and ask if she'll come. And then she comes and she does a Sydney thing for 1 or 2 scenes, and then she goes home. It's almost like that's exactly the way the business deal went. Like, we want you here, but you're no longer the main character. And Neve Campbell was cool. She was cool. She's like, all right, I'll do it. And she has a couple of my favorite scenes in the movie are her and Gail, fucking Mikey Madison up, like that scene was fucking awesome. I just didn't really, I didn't care about the motive of the killers this time. Like I think it was like a toxic.
What was the motive?
The motive is that the 2 killers were obsessive fans of the Stab movies.
And that's right. I do remember watching that part.
Once no actual murders were happening anymore, they started making shit up. And they're deliberately poking fun of Ryan Johnson, but he was in on the joke, which is why they gave him a special thanks. And Randy's niece is the one who's talking about how they went off the rails with Stab 8 and all this terrible shit's going on. And we love these movies. It's not about hate. And it's clearly they're being, tongue in cheek about it. That's kind of like Scream 3. We're being funny with it. And that's
sure.
But I thought it was good that they finally made the Stab movies actually mean something. It's like, it was interesting when they said, oh, that look, your real life is now becoming a movie. But in Scream 3, okay, it's the novelty of it being on a movie set, but other than that, it's not really a big thing. Whereas in Scream 4, they're kids going to a Stab marathon, but it's still like you kind of made this joke in Scream 2 with the whole movies based on your life. And so I like that it actually comes back to mean something significant in this movie, where it's like, no, this is actually going to come back and cause real problems for you, because it's like, oh shit, it's not just that they're making movies about it. Now psychos are coming after us because of the movies.
Hey, Joanne, would you read this comment from Protein?
You eat my lemon squares. That's awesome. But yeah, Ben, I liked this one because of the, like, what did you think about them kind of passing along the, to the main characters, like these two main girls?
That's a great question, because that's my biggest problem is I don't really like the new characters that much.
Okay.
I like Chaz or Chad or what, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s son. I can't remember his character.
Gooding.
Yeah, I like him a lot, and I love the chick from Yellow Jackets, his sister. I forget her name as well. Kat?
Mindy.
I like Mindy, and I like
Mindy.
Yeah, Chad and Mindy. I like them. I think I kind of like Sam better in 6 because I get her a little bit more.
Okay, yeah.
But I do think that Jenna Ortega should have been killed in that opening scene. I think it would have set the stage. But
too.
yeah, she did, and she got
fucked so many
up, dude.
times.
She got seriously fucked up.
Yeah, it was an exciting start to it. I thought
It was.
right
The
away.
opening was great. I love I love how it's a switch where you think that he's watching one person, but he's actually watching somebody else. It starts out kind of great. I don't know. It's hard to put my finger on it. It just didn't work for me, like, by the end. And I don't know, there's something about it. I think while we were watching it, I was having these ideas of, like, I knew Jack Quaid was the killer the whole fucking movie. It was so kind of easy to figure out him. But if they were going to have a second one, and then when you find out, like Kat said, how the fuck did this, like, 95-pound fucking Mikey Madison, like, fuck all these dudes up?
Right. Yeah. Well, but that's part of why the twist actually tricked me. I was like, I don't know. Yeah. Because they went back and forth from having 2 killers to 1 to 2. And then also, is it the boyfriend again or not?
I think this movie would have been stronger if it was just the boyfriend. Jack Quaid orchestrated everything. You didn't need a second killer, but but you do, because he is incapacitated, like in a broom closet with he's like injured, and that's the way they throw you out. Once that happened to him, I'm like, oh yeah, he's totally the killer, because he's playing it off like he's as a scared pussy. So you already know right there. You're like, yeah, he's the killer. This is ridiculous,
Yeah.
But
It's
fine. It's fine.
I did like that they killed Mikey Madison in the same way they killed her Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
She was the actress that would just get burned alive.
Yeah.
That was so bad. Oh my.
That's true.
Like, I love it how Gail's like, you want to do it? And the Sydney's like, no, this one's definitely yours, because she killed Dewey. And then Gail just totally burns her alive.
There was definitely some good kills. This one had when Sheriff Lemon Square and her son die. Like, that shit's brutal, dude. Like, the mom and son die in the same scene, and it's one of those rare scenes where you see kind of Ghostface out in the daytime, and you're like, oh shit, this is interesting, But I hated the Dewey death. It goes against everything that Dewey knows about how you're supposed to react to a Ghostface. When you think you've beaten him, don't put your guard down. It just didn't make sense.
Always shoot him in the head.
And he was just about to shoot him that's what he says. He's like, I gotta shoot him in the head. And they're like, Dewey, don't go back. He's like, I gotta shoot him in the head. They always come back.
Yeah.
But then they just make this really long drawn out thing of him walking down the hall, dislodging the spent casings, loading the gun, and he lets his cell phone, the sound of his cell phone ringing, distract him.
Yeah.
For Ghostface to get him. And it's like, no. It's like, if you're gonna kill Dewey, you gotta make it more believable that he would get it. But it is like with Randy and Scream 2, it's like, wow, that they're willing to go there. It's just really heartbreaking, because as I'll mention in the next movie, I feel that, well, I'll wait till we were talking about Scream 6 to mention it, but yeah.
I'm fine with Dewey dying, but give him a brain. and give him a
Yeah.
fighting chance. You
Yeah.
know,
I'm not fine with
Have
dying.
his death mean something. Have it.
yeah.
And what the hell is it with this hospital being like empty?
It's empty. That's why I put
hospitals
this
a lot.
shot up. It's like there's
no
nobody
such
there.
thing as a hospital where there's nobody there. All the lights would be on. There would be the patients would be making noise. The machines would be going off. There's nurses at every station. What the hell is this place?
Yeah, and these movies, like when they get to the root of the kills and stuff like that, they're pretty lenient on, like, you know, well, we got to clear this room because we need to make this scene intense. You know, I'll give Scream 6 credit for when you actually see the killer. It's usually in like a crowded area because it's New York City. But shall we move on to 6? Yeah.
So 6 takes place in New York City.
6 takes place in New York, and it stars our favorite characters from Scream movies. These 4: Chaz, Mindy.
Oh, that's right. They call themselves the Final Four or something
the
like
the
that.
core 4.
Core four.
Yeah.
That's,
which is
I remember-
bullshit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, Tara, Sam, and
Yes.
Mindy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Joanne, why don't you start us off with Scream 6? Because I didn't see this with you. You were already in. Yeah.
right. Yeah, but no, I thought it was good too. I like both of these movies together. I think it's kind of a shame that you know, the political stuff happened and that they couldn't these two couldn't be in 7, and they had to go back to the drawing board. So I was kind of hoping for a third one with them. But, you know, at the same time, you know, I think it was still kind of wrapped up enough, I guess. So yeah, no, I enjoyed it about as much as I enjoyed part 5. I like the new characters. I like the 2 sisters. Again, the continuation of the family drama, like I'm talking about. You know, that's their callback to Billy Loomis as having Sam be the daughter, and she's like struggling, you know, knowing that that she's related to a psychopath, but it kind of in a way empowers her too. I think all of that is a really cool dynamic to the whole thing. So I enjoyed this I put it like kind of even with part 5. They just kind of go together as like one movie to me, even though they're in 2 separate locations. And then it's kind of cool also that after they move, you know, they can't get away from it. So that's cool too.
I think this has one of the best openings in any Scream movie ever.
Wow.
Where
Praise.
it starts out as a Scream movie, and you have Samara Weaving in this just delicious yellow dress, by the way. Like a lot of memes, a lot of gifs.
Lemon Square.
But it's a classic opening to a Scream movie, but it's in New York City. So it starts out with a woman like in a restaurant waiting for a blind date. And then he lures her into an alley and kills her. And then he takes his mask off. And you see that it's the kid from the Grand Budapest Hotel and the Spider-Man movies. And you're like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? Then it proceeds to follow this character back to his house. And you're like, I'm watching a Scream movie right now where they tell you who the killer is at the beginning of the movie. And you're like, wow, this is so intense. But then they pull a switch where he dies from another Scream killer. And you're like, well, that awesome idea just disappeared. And I guess we're just going back to the drawing board now, because that opening scene blew my mind. I was like, oh, fuck. I would love it if you watch a Scream movie almost from the killer's perspective or something.
Well, I guess wait until the end, but explain to me why they did that.
So,
well, they don't really tell you why they did it, because they abandon it pretty quick.
They do, because it's like, they do, because the opening, I'll say this is my second favorite opening of a Scream movie after the first one.
It's pretty great. Yeah.
And I've seen all 7 of them. So I'll say that this is still my second favorite opening. And I like that when he takes the mask off and they show you who it is, I thought, wow, they're actually going to do something radically different rather than being just derivative. And he goes back to his apartment, and you find out he and this other unseen guy, his friend Greg, who he only talks to on the phone, were idolizing Richie and Amber. They were also Stab superfans, and they wanted to finish what Richie and Amber started by continuing the whole.
Continuing
that. And the punchline is that
Yeah.
the guy opens the fridge and sees his buddy Greg diced in the fridge.
Yeah.
And then a Ghostface jumps up behind him and stabs him. He's like, "What about my movie?" And the new Ghostface is like, "Who gives a fuck about movies?" and kills him. And it's like, oh, okay. So but it would have been interesting to see how a Scream movie would play out when you actually know who the killer is, but they decided
think
not to
so.
go that route. And plus, they already did the Stab Fanatics thing, so it's like, we don't need to do that again. But then the
So
rest
it
of the
was just
movie
kind of
happens.
like
And-
a plot device to kind of
Well,
throw
it
you
was
off the track.
it was kind of like a bait and
Yeah.
switch, but it
Bait- yeah,
lasted
well,
like
that's what I mean.
15 minutes, and
yeah,
it was
a good solid
Yeah.
chunk of the beginning of the movie.
and it was really fun because now you're like, wait, where is this movie going?
And you had
know?
Samara Weaving from Ready or Not was the victim in the beginning.
Okay.
Mhm.
And it's
in the
like,
yellow
she was pretty
dress.
good. But
And maybe that's just their way of doing like a new version of the twist, of killing the
right.
the main just doing something different to kind of throw you off the track and then just getting right back
Yeah,
into
but
it.
see, here's the problem, Theta, is like they did that for the audience.
Yeah,
They didn't quite
Exactly.
figure out how that's going to work into the story because
Yeah.
then you have to go back and go, well, when we do find out who the killers are, how did they know? Why did they know he was
Yeah.
doing this?
What
And-
was the point of the
just no, they didn't cover their basis as to like, okay, this happened at the beginning, but who
Well, I
knew
get
it was going to
Yeah,
happen?
how did they
Yeah.
know that? And number two,
Yeah.
we know why they did it because they don't want them messing with their own plans. But it's like, how
Right.
did they know that those guys were doing that? So yeah, that's a thing.
well, and
Hey,
why
my
did he
boy.
take off?
Comic
Oh, hey,
Relief
what's up, Comic
Crusader, what's
Relief?
up, dude? Thanks for being here, brother.
And why would he take off his mask anyway, just in case
no, when he
the-
got back home to his apartment.
Yeah, I'm sorry, he didn't take his mask off. I made it sound like he took it off.
he
Right?
stabbed and then took his
No,
mask
no.
off.
That was
so
my
that-
bad. That was my
He
bad.
did
Yeah,
that back at home.
Yeah,
But
okay,
the
I
problem is-
understand now.
After this happens, the rest of the movie is really derivative of Scream 2. And at one point, Mindy, who's like,
college. Yeah.
Randy's niece, she basically gives a whole speech again about, oh, the killers are clearly trying to recreate the events of Stab 2, which were based
But
on
now
the
it's a
college murders.
franchise.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's like, but I'm like, wait a minute, time out. If you're smart enough to figure that out, then common sense should tell you, well, who was the killer in Stab 2 and who was the killer at Windsor College? Who was the mastermind? And maybe we should use that as a jumping off point. But because the plot demands them not to figure that out because they want the whole movie to play out, she's not smart enough, and none of the other people she's talking to, the main characters, are smart enough to think about
Yeah.
that.
If this was
And-
the start of a new like trilogy and this was part 2, they should have used Scream 2 as more of like a template, but they didn't,
No, they did. This is a Scream 2. It's the whole Scream 2 again. It's all Scream 6.
Well,
is.
the college part is, but they drop like,
Well, but the killers and who they are and their motive is exactly the same.
they're okay. Well, yeah, it's a revenge thing from the killer from the previous movie, but I'm
Well,
just
a
talking
revenge
about
thing
like,
for the father instead of the mother, and it's like,
Yeah.
the problem is that this is really the first movie in the franchise that isn't really satirizing anything or commenting on anything. It's just
that's my yeah.
you've become a derivative slasher of what you make fun of, and yeah, they're trying to set up some suspects, and this guy here to Sam's left is like her, she's her neighbor at her apartment. and she
Booty
has
call.
crush
It's a
on
booty
him.
call. It's a booty
Yeah,
call.
he has a crush on her, and they're kind of setting up like, could he be it and stuff. And I'll admit the movie is brutal compared to other Scream movies. Like, it's intense at times. But again, it's not really commenting on anything. And the idea that Richie had this secret collection of stuff from all of the
Where did he
murders-
get all that shit?
Well, yeah, because here's the thing. He
They're
first of all
real quick. They're telling you that his dad was like a
well, his dad's a
detective.
cop.
Yeah, but
And-
that doesn't
I
tell
know,
you
I
how
know
you
that. So
get.
he wouldn't have. Let me
Yeah.
finish.
All
His
right,
dad's
sorry.
a cop, so he would not have access to evidence lockers all over the country from the different locations. Number one. Number two, Richie was a super fan of the movies, not the real events. He was so passionate talking about the movies. When he met Sydney, he's like, "Oh, okay, it's fun," but he wasn't like super jazzed about it. It's like, why would he be collecting things like, the previous Ghostface master, the TV that
Oh,
killed
that's-
Stu Macher? I'm like, why would you
Yeah,
have the
that's
TV
right.
that killed Stu?
That is
there was like
so
a
dumb.
museum
And that's
of
another
all
really
the
dumb thing where-
That
artifacts
TV
from
would
all
have just gone into the trash.
Well, that's
Yeah.
it's another dumb thing where it's like Mindy and they brought back Hayden Panettiere's character who's an FBI agent now. And
Yeah,
they're sitting down looking
she's supposed to be an FBI agent.
they're sitting
yeah.
down looking at the TV, And she's like, the TV that killed Stu Macher. And the other one's like, if you believe he's dead. I'm like, time out. Us fans like to speculate that could Stu have survived, but the people in the world of the movie would know if Stu died at the house or not.
Yeah, it doesn't make
exactly.
sense. Yeah,
And
yeah.
so that was really dumb. And yeah, I think kind of her hallucinations of Billy Loomis when he sees the kind of ghost face shrine that Richie's dad created.
So
He's like,
Skeeter,
come on, this place is
comes
awesome. I'm
back
like, okay, that
as
was kind of funny.
hallucination.
Well, because she has the part of her problem is that when she found out that she was the illegitimate daughter of Billy Loomis, she had like a mental break and keeps like imagining him talking to her like your inner conscience. And they got
Oh, cool.
Ulrich
So
to
he
come
does.
back.
come
And they
back.
well, they
Okay.
could have done
Yeah, it's pretty
something.
cool.
They could have done something really interesting with Sam, where she does eventually become the Ghostface killer. I almost feel like it was leading up to that before
Probably.
Melissa Barrera got fired, because
Mhm.
she's so different than Sydney, and you don't know shit about her in the first movie, Scream
Right.
5. Scream 6, you actually kind of get a sense of who she is and like her plight and everything, and her, you know, the fact that people are spreading online that she's the killer and blah blah blah. And then
Right.
the movie, how this movie ends, it's brutal. Like she's just fucking stabbing the fuck out of, you know, the killer. And I would have loved it. I actually, Kat, for a while, I was like, you know what? Maybe they put this whole she's fired for Palestine rumors as like a ploy so that we could have her as the
No.
killer of Scream 7.
No,
but,
no.
but people
Uh,
said, no, that's not going to
But
happen.
it-
But yeah.
with the thing is, I like the way the sister story ends here. And if you think about it, there's really no reason to bring them back because they weren't really the focus of Scream 5. It's like,
No,
they needed.
they look like they're
needed
going to
new-
go on a
Well,
cross country murder spree
no,
at the end of
no,
Scream
let me
6.
finish. They needed new characters in Scream 5 to hang it around because, and it's like, well, how do we justify bringing these new people in? Well, we'll say she has a Billy Loomis tie, and that's why the stab fanatics go after them. But it was never really about them. It was about the stab movies. Scream 6 is the father of Richie and his and Richie's siblings want revenge for her killing Richie. And in true psychopath fashion, they have no problem with Richie being a total nutcase serial killer who's killed all these innocent people. Oh, but God forbid you killed Richie. And it's like, okay, but even then, that's like a little revenge thing. Like, there's no reason for their story to continue. So I don't know what they would have done with Scream 7. And yeah, it's stupid. They never should have fired her. But I happen to know that Jenna Ortega had a buyout clause in her contract, and she wanted to buy her way out and was going to do that anyway because she was getting better offers for better movies.
Oh,
And
wow.
she just used Melissa's firing as a convenient excuse to say, well, she's not coming back. I'm not coming back. She
Good
wasn't
for
coming
her.
back anyway, so they're probably not going to get her back, which means it would have been weird to just bring Sam back without this. It would have been just kind of awkward. But
Yeah.
again, my gripes with this movie is that it's just, once again, it's not satirizing anything. It's way too derivative of Scream 2. And yeah, some of the execution of it may be better along the way than Scream 2. But again, like Ben said, why? How does Richie's dad get all of the stuff from the previous murders out of the evidence locker? Why is he keeping a random warehouse in New York where Richie didn't even live to keep all this shit? It's just it just got convoluted, and I didn't really care for this.
That
one
would have
much.
made me think of Hayden Panettiere as an FBI agent.
Yeah, yeah. Who
that
specializes in Ghostface
Yeah,
killings. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. And she's okay in this movie, but she doesn't feel exactly like the same character from Scream 4.
Well,
Obviously,
the
it's
character we thought died in Scream 4 too, because she got stabbed in the gut.
there's a blink and you miss it thing on like an internet post in Scream 5
That's right.
that shows that she's alive, and I'm glad she was alive, but she just wasn't. I was so excited to see her again, but she didn't feel like the same character exactly.
Well, they were trying to
you know.
set her up as like another red herring, like maybe
Yeah,
she's
something
gone
like that. Yeah.
nuts
Yeah.
and done it, but yeah, and I agree. I like Chad. I didn't like Mindy's character in this. I thought again, it's too stupid for you to surmise that.
Well, if you
Lizzie
notice,
went to
like,
co- and
yeah,
how-
Mindy's
you just
character
went to the top of my list. I'm like, that just sounds so cheesy.
Mindy's character is taken out of the entire final act of this movie because she was busy shooting Yellow Jackets. She's just
Right.
after the subway scene, she's fucking gone from this movie. She's not in the last 40 minutes of this movie, you know, which is good because Yellow Jackets is much better than
Yeah.
Scream 6. But yeah, I don't know. I find this movie, I like the sisters more in this one. You know, it's funny, Kat, or all you guys, I don't know if you've ever heard of this whole funny thing, but like Dermot Mulroney and Dylan McDermott, they have very similar names, kind of reversed. I thought it would have been hilarious if you had Dermot Mulroney and Dylan McDermott in this movie, and then the killer is either Dylan McDermott or Dermot Mulroney. And then at the end, the twist is that it's both Dylan McDermott and Dermot Mulroney. I thought that would have been really meta, like fucking meta.
Oh, man.
Did you think it was Dermot Mulroney? It was actually Dylan McDermott. It was actually both of us. I don't know. I think that
It
would
was
have
actually David Duchovny.
that was pretty close too.
I remember the one more thing I was going to mention that I said I should wait till this one is that all the fuss was made about the fact that Sydney didn't come back. You should have paid her and all that. It's like, hey, you should have paid her. But to me, the missing ingredient is Dewey. I'm sorry, it's not Sydney.
Yeah.
It's Dewey.
Yeah.
He's very unique, and he's
They're a
such great
trio.
character.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I like Sydney, but the thing when you're dealing with a character who's just constantly dealing with trauma, it's the same thing over and over. Whereas Dewey had an actual dynamic arc, which I liked.
Yeah,
And
dude. Yeah.
I would have preferred it if you were going to kill him to save him. Like, you did a good character twist for him in Scream 5. Maybe you should have kept him alive and not done him off until maybe Scream 6 if you were going to do that. But man, everybody complains about Sydney, and I even wrote on somebody's Scream 7 review where they're, yay, happy Sydney's back. I'm like, am I the only one who thinks Dewey was the real missing ingredient?
You know what?
In Scream 6?
I'm
like
okay.
the Don
I'm actually okay with Sydney sitting out one of these movies
Yeah.
because she does need a break. But I 100% am with Kat. Like, it shows you how like Gail doesn't really have anything going on without the duality or the duology or whatever the word is with
Duality.
Dewey. Like, it doesn't work as well when she doesn't have Dewey to kind of fire back with, you know? So like her character was just like, well, yeah, I'll be in this movie. I'm Courtney Cox for sure. But without Dewey, her character just seems a little empty. And I'm not saying like a female character can't work without a male character. I'm saying when you've been a couple for the entire franchise and then one is gone, you know, it feels a little off. I was fine with Sydney stepping away, and I like how they're like, well, she deserves to kind of have some peace for a little bit. But I was also very excited that she's back in this 7th movie. But yeah.
How was the 7th movie?
Well, no, we're not getting there. We're not doing it.
Not doing it? Okay.
Kat's the only one that's seen it, and we can't go there.
All right. Okay.
But
I
want to
tell you after the stream.
yeah, well, yeah. If you guys want to talk about it, I mean, I'm seeing it tomorrow, so I've held out long enough. I don't want to know anything. But all I know is like I don't think
I'll look it up. Like it's all right.
So do you guys want to rank these bad boys?
Yeah.
Let's do it. I want to go from bottom to top from where I'm sitting. So that would be Kat Theta. Kat Theta. Nice one, dude. Nice one. I always respect somebody that knows when to say that's what she said. Let's start with let's go Kat Theta, Elvirus, and then me, and I'll let you guys go. So start with well, I guess each one of us will just do our entire lists. It's the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In last place, Scream 6. Because again, it's not really satirizing anything, and it's way too derivative of Scream 2, which wasn't for the best. And again, it's Dewey's the missing ingredient. And then when you have Sydney and Dewey absent from the same movie, it makes it even weirder that Gail's there. I agree. It's like, what are we doing here? So yeah, I didn't care for that one. In 5th place, I'd put, ironically, Scream 2. It was kind of fun. But again, it was a bit messy. You figure out who the killers are really early, and you have that. You mentioned that cringe dance scene, and it says sometimes things were just too obvious. And it's like, I mean, I'm impressed that they had as many good scenes in that one as they did, considering they rushed it within a year. But you can also tell that they kind of rushed it. And that's the movie, if I recall, the script leaking online, and they were trying to change things around or whatever because they were worried about spoilers. In 4th place, I'll put. Scream 5. I thought it was, again, fun legacy sequel. I liked the meta commentary and thought it worked. 3rd place, I'll go Scream 3 because I like that we're in on the joke. It's kind of, funny, and that's the point. Then in 2nd place, Scream 4. And then in 1st place, I'll go the original. Original and
Nice.
best.
Yes.
All right. For me, it's Scream 6 since I've never seen it and I don't really have anything to compare it to. And I want to sound like I know what I'm talking about, like Kat does. So I'm going to copy her with Scream 6. And then I'm going to go with Scream 2 as well. Because I'm still going to copy her. No, I'm just kidding. Scream 2 was another one where with Randy dying and everything really upset me. I really wanted him to be a legacy character and just continue on with his amazing commentary on the franchise and horror movies in general and being in on the joke and the meta commentary. Then I'm going to go with Scream 4.
Nice.
I really loved the whole twist of being Sydney's niece and wanting all the attention. I thought that was a really interesting twist. Then I'm going to go with Scream 3. And then, and that's just because I love the connection between Scream 1 and Scream 3 and how Scream 3 Roman could have set up Scream 1 and this whole entire Woodsboro murders in general. And then obviously Scream 1, the thing that started off everything. So that's my list.
Good list. Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Joe.
So there's some that I haven't seen in a long time, so that could be the reason for my ranking. So after like discussing, I might actually go back and change my mind. But my bottom one was coming in here was Scream 3. I don't know, it just didn't seem as but I liked them all though. So this is not a criticism. It's just
They're all fun. They're all fun movies. Yeah.
Exactly. But since we have to rank them, I had Scream 3 in the bottom, and then actually followed by Scream 4. And like I said, neither one of them is bad. I'm so sorry, Ben. But yeah, then I had 5 and 6 next because maybe it's just because they were like fresher in my mind. I don't know, but I really enjoyed the new characters of the two sisters together. I don't know, maybe it just kind of was a nice refresh for me. And I liked the idea of having her be Billy Loomis's daughter, and that you can feel like she kind of has like a crazy side deep down.
Yeah.
In there.
They were going somewhere great with that.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that. And then Scream 2. I thought it was a great combination. I mean, a continuation of Scream 1. And like I said, that was the one where I really felt them going all in on the meta, and the introduction of the stab movie, was a huge part of that for me. And then seems like we're all unanimous, even though Ben, you haven't gone yet. Scream 1, definitely the best, had the most impact. The novelty of it. I remember seeing it in the theater and everything. And like I said, my favorite part, even more than it being like a meta, is that twist of having 2 killers in the whodunit. That was my favorite part.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'm not going to disappoint when it comes to the end, but we'll get there. Scream 5 is my least favorite. Again, there's enjoyable moments. We've already kind of talked about it. Like, I know I'm sort of on an island by myself on that one. It just didn't work for me that well. The next one is Scream 6. I think there's a lot of fun stuff. I like the New York setting. I'm fine with Ghostface holding a shotgun. I think it's actually kind of badass.
I did see that. Oh yeah.
I'm fine with that. It's probably the weakest killer reveal, but I kind of look past it just because, Kirby's back. It's kind of fun. It's got some wild kills, and I do like the Sam and I just want to say Jenna Ortega, but what's her name? Kat?
Tara.
Melissa
Tara.
Blair.
Sam and Tara, finally in this movie, they give you like they give you like a send off where you're like, fuck, dude, how crazy would it be if the next movie is just them fucking killing people? You know, like, because it almost feels like that's going to happen. Coming in next for me is Scream 3. I had to put it above those other two. I just feel it's part of the original trilogy. And though it's not scary at all, it is very funny. And it wanted to be funny and it succeeded. It didn't really try hard to be scary, and it succeeded at that as well. So I just love the characters in Scream 3. Parker Posey. I love David Puddy. It's a funny movie. And if that were to be the end, I would have been fine with that. So I have to give it credit for that. Next for me is Scream 2. This movie is a really good sequel coming off only 1 year from when the first movie came out. You got to give it a lot of credit for that. The only reason it's not higher is because of the Derek Cafeteria, I Think I Love You dance number. It's just fucking awful and cringy, and it makes my skin crawl every time I watch it. Scream 4, to me, it's the perfect sequel to any Scream movie. It just works. The dialogue works. Yes. I want to say, Kat, it was the first Scream movie shot on digital HD video, and that's one of the reasons it looks a little dark and
a lot of
shitty.
digital movies that look good. It's just
No. I'm not giving it a pass because it's shot on digital video, but it is definitely, it's the first Scream movie not shot on film. You know, but it does.
I'm just saying, I don't think the fact that it's shot on digital was the problem. It's the fact that
it wasn't the problem. Yeah.
Wes was deliberately trying to make it look bad.
It was a cinematographer DP choice where it just didn't want to have expressive colors in it, and it looks gross. Yeah, it looks like somebody sneezed on the lens of the camera and then smeared it all over the place. But the movie's so fun, and the characters are so fun, and it's got great kills, and it's kind of the last Scream movie that knew what the Scream movies were all about, for me anyway. But obviously number one, like all you guys, Scream 1 is an absolute masterpiece. It's one of the best slasher movies ever made. Even though it knows it's a slasher movie, it's telling you it's a slasher movie. It just works perfectly. I adore it. I watch that movie and I study it for how well it's shot, how well it's edited, for how well it's acted and casted. Like everything about the movie's a 10 out of 10 for me. So
only one better is Scary Movie.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We should do Scary Movie. Well, Kat is probably the only one that's seen the Scary Movie 6 trailer because she saw the new Scream movie. How does that look? How does that look, Kat?
I mean, it's the Wayans brothers, of course, coming back. And that trailer, they probably spoof more movies in this new one than in the first 3 that the Wayans brothers did all put together.
Wow.
I mean, they had everything. Even stuff as recent as Weapons was in there.
Oh,
and
wow.
Like, they're just going for it. And it's like, I like that they even brought back, what's his name? Lachlan Monroe from Scary Movie 1, the jock who gets his
no way.
They brought him back as a cop in this one.
I love that actor, dude.
They brought back Regina Hall. They brought back Anna Faris.
Actor. Yeah.
So they're bringing people back because it's like, yeah, why not? It's fun. They bring back Shorty and Ray.
Well, and what's her name? Anna Faris is the lead again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Anna Faris from
she's
Regina
the Sidney
back.
Prescott. Yeah.
There was one joke in there I thought was really funny, but most of the stuff I was watching wasn't really funny. But we'll see if it turns out good.
Remember her name in Scary Movie 1? Instead of Sidney Prescott, it was like Cindy Fair-Scout or some shit like that. Yeah. Oh, dude, I love the first 3 Scary Movie movies. Yeah.
It's funny. So when it comes to rating these movies, we really should just have a graphic of Infinity War with Doctor Strange holding up the just one timeline. Yeah.
I think this exact panel should reconvene after Scary Movie 6, and we'll talk about all the Scary Movie movies.
I need to catch up and watch 5 and 6. And
I haven't seen.
7.
I don't think I've seen 5. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Last one I saw was like a big spoof on Signs, which was hilarious.
That was the third one.
Yeah,
That's the
I think
last
that was
one.
3. Yeah.
After that, the Wayans brothers left, and it just fell off a cliff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That
Are
was
you
the one
gonna
with
do-
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
That was,
Leslie
dude, that
Nielsen.
one was great. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you planning on doing a review of Scream 7 after you see it?
I might. It depends. You want to join?
I would absolutely join if you.
Probably be recorded and edited.
Okay.
But
Is-
yeah,
is-
it depends.
Is
If I
it
think
worth-
there's like nothing of it, then I won't. But if I either love it or hate it, then yeah, I'll definitely do it.
Sure.
Okay. I'll look. into it.
Bumpmaster 1, 1, 4, 5, 2, 3, and 6. Okay, well,
Mhm.
likes 5 more than me, but likes 4 as much. Nobody's not going to have number 1, right?
Well,
Like,
and they might be going from first place to sixth place. Too.
no, if you look at that, that's pretty evident. Like,
That's first place.
no one's
yeah.
favorite Scream movie is 6.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
first place.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
yeah.
We're on the same page then. 'cause
Yeah.
I thought
He
you were.
went backwards. He went.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was going. I thought you know what I'm talking about.
All right, guys. Well, this was fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank
No,
you for
thank you.
inviting me,
I want to
man.
thank everybody for watching, all the comments. We got some new subs tonight. Thanks for liking, subscribing. Thanks to Theta. Thanks to Kat. Thanks to Joe Elvirus. This was the Scream stream, and I'm coining that because no one
That
ever
was-
did.
And thank you for coming on my panel the other night. That was awesome. That was so kind of you. I appreciate hanging out with you, and we need to do that more.
Yeah, and what do you have coming up, Theta?
Well, for me, I have a Tron. Well, first of all, I have a Tron short video that I'm making, kind of like just an outline of what I hated about Tron Ares and what I would have done differently. But then I'm also going to be working on like a 25-minute version to kind of really just like get into the deep lore of why I think the film should be like we were saying, it rhymes, and I think that this Tron Ares should have rhymed with the first one, and it didn't rhyme at all. It was it didn't even deserve to have the Tron name attached to it. So yeah, anyway, follow me on Nerd Archaeology. I just started this new channel. I have Theta of the Grid that I stream from because it's monetized still. So we do a lot of trivia, we do watch parties, we do games and karaoke, all sorts of crazy stuff. And I plan on talking about Transformers and The Fall and The Cell with and Star Trek with different other creators. But follow me on Nerd Archaeology. That would really help me right now. But only follow me if you like ambiguous answers to plot threads, plot endings, and theories on different franchises coming together, even if they weren't intended to. So give it a watch and see if you like it. If you don't, then you can always unsubscribe. But
yeah, subscribe to his channel. His link will be in the description below once we finish this bad boy. Kat, anything going on with Phantasmagorium?
Yeah, we took this week off, but we'll be back next Thursday with the latest episode of From the Pile, where my friend Ernesto and I, and maybe Scott this week, shame each other over the movies we haven't seen, despite our cinemaphile cred.
That is such a great idea. Like that,
Well,
I would.
What we do is that I should clarify is that movies that we have never seen until the day, like we won't tell each other which one we're picking, but I'll watch one that I've had on my watch list forever, and they're like, "You didn't watch that?" Like in an earlier episode, one that Ernesto watched for the first time was The Shining, and I couldn't believe that he had never seen that. I had never watched the original Carrie before, so that was one for me. But we have fun shaming each other, having fun with that. And again, Scotty R37 is.
I think that's one of the funnest ideas. Is Ben was explaining it, and you were explaining too what y'all do on there by giving each other shit for not watching those movies. I think that's the coolest damn idea ever. I think that's That's awesome. 2 thumbs up, Kat.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Every Thursday at 7:30 Pacific, and then in the intervening weeks, we go do our Batman comic review show, which is our series Capes, Cowls, and Crusaders. Our next one will be Batman Earth 1 Volume 3, which would be not next Thursday, but the week after that. So we alternate between those 2 series every Thursday.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm a huge Batman. I mean, I'm a huge everything nerd fan. So DC, Marvel, Boom Studios, I love it all. So
Yeah, and we have Cinema Go Pat. We have a Bloody Good Year 1986 coming up, where there's 3 movies that came out in '86 that were horror movies based on April Fools. So we have Killer Party, Slaughter High, and April Fools.
I was gonna say one of them is actually named April Fools.
So we're gonna be doing that. Probably put it out in the next few weeks or whatever. But other than that, that's it. Thanks, folks. You guys are great. And before we say goodnight, I just want to tell everybody.
Get off my case, motherfucker!
All right. Have a good night. Love you guys.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Yes.